My beloved child, stop right here. This is not a coincidence, and this is not just another video. I see you waiting, still standing, still hoping, and wondering if I will answer or leave you hanging. Do not scroll, do not rush, do not turn away, because what you are about to hear was shaped for this exact moment in your life. I am speaking to the ache you carry quietly, the question you ask at night, the faith you are fighting to keep alive. Stay with me, listen closely, and let every word reach the place where doubt has been whispering. What follows is not random encouragement, it is direction, correction, and confirmation. Watch until the end, my child, because what you are waiting for is closer than you think, and walking away now would mean missing what I am about to reveal. My beloved child, I see you standing in the gap, and I need you to understand what that truly means. You are not just waiting, you are positioned. You are not lingering aimlessly, you are holding ground. The gap you stand in is holy, though it feels heavy. It is the place between what was promised and what has not yet arrived, the space where faith is stretched and hope is tested. And I see you there, still standing when others would have sat down, still believing when doubt tried to take your voice, still showing up when your heart felt tired of hoping. You did not drift here by accident. I led you here. I placed you here because there are seasons when my children are not called to move forward or backward, but to remain, to stand, to endure, to trust me when the path ahead is still unfolding. I see the quiet strength it has taken for you to remain upright in this space. I see the internal battles no one applauds, the prayers whispered so softly you wondered if even I could hear them. And I want you to know this. I have not mistaken your waiting for weakness. Heaven does not see delay where you stand. Heaven sees devotion. Heaven sees loyalty. Heaven sees a child who chose to stay engaged rather than escape when the waiting became uncomfortable. The gap is not a punishment. It is a proving ground. And you, my child, have proven far more than you realize. I know there were moments when you questioned whether standing here was foolish. Moments when you watched others move ahead and wondered if you were being left behind. Moments when silence made you feel invisible. But hear me now, your presence in this gap is not unnoticed. Every step you did not take out of fear, every door you did not force open, every shortcut you refused because you trusted me, that matters. I have been watching you resist the urge to run, even when running seemed easier than waiting. I have seen you wrestle with discouragement and still choose to rise the next morning with hope clinging to your chest like a fragile promise. You may feel forgotten, but I assure you, you are not overlooked. I do not lose sight of my children when they are quiet. I do not forget them when they are still. I am especially attentive in these moments, because standing in the gap requires a kind of courage that movement does not. Anyone can walk away. Anyone can distract themselves. But it takes faith to remain when answers are slow and clarity is scarce. And that faith, your faith, is precious to me. You are not standing alone, even if it feels that way. I am standing with you, holding the weight you cannot see, anchoring you when your strength wavers. Stay here with me. The gap is not your ending. It is the place where I am shaping what comes next. My beloved, I need to correct a quiet lie that has tried to take root in your heart while you've been waiting. You began to wonder if my silence meant distance, if my quiet meant absence, if the lack of movement meant I stepped away. But waiting does not mean I walked away. Silence is not abandonment. Stillness is not neglect. There are seasons when I speak loudly, and there are seasons when I work deeply, and deep work is often quiet work. You have been interpreting the hush as a withdrawal, but I tell you now, I am nearer in this silence than I was in the noise. I lean closer when you are tempted to believe I've gone. I stay when others leave. I remain when answers delay. The absence you feel is not me leaving. It is me drawing you into a different kind of closeness, one not dependent on constant reassurance, but rooted in trust. I know this has been uncomfortable. I know you are used to signs, signals, movement, confirmation. But I am teaching you to recognize my presence without spectacle, my guidance without constant explanation, my faithfulness without immediate evidence. This is not distance. This is depth. Think about how many times you mistook activity for intimacy. You believed that when things were happening, I was near, and when things slowed, I must have stepped back. But hear me clearly, some of my greatest work happens when everything looks still. I am not pacing heaven unsure of what to do with you. I am not distracted. I am not undecided. I am intentional. I am steady. I am unwavering. And while you wait, I am weaving. While you wonder, I am arranging. While you sit with unanswered questions, I am answering things you haven't yet asked. You want motion, I want maturity. You want clarity, I want communion. You want results, I want roots. And roots do not grow in a rush. They grow in pressure, in darkness, in stillness, places where no one claps, no one sees, and no one affirms. Yet this is where strength is born. I have not walked away from you. I have been holding you in a quiet place so that what I am building in you will last longer than what you are asking me to give you. I know the silence tested your assumptions about me. It made you revisit old fears, old wounds, old questions you thought were settled. It made you wonder if you misunderstood me, if you heard me wrong, if you trusted too much. But my child, I have not changed you. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. The same God who spoke to you before is the God who is silent with purpose now. I do not withdraw my love when I grow quiet. I do not disappear when I pause. I am not like people who leave without explanation. I am the Father who stays, even when you cannot feel my hand. And one day, sooner than you think, you will look back at this season and realize that I was closer than ever, carrying you through a silence that strengthened you more than noise ever could. My child, I know how long this has felt. Not how long it has been on a calendar, but how long it has lived inside your chest. Time stretches differently when hope is involved. Minutes feel like months. Months feel like years. Waiting has a way of pressing on the heart, making each unanswered prayer feel heavier than the last. I know there were days when you woke up thinking, surely today, only to go to bed carrying the same questions. I know there were nights when sleep avoided you because your mind replayed every promise, every word, every moment you thought change would come. I saw the disappointment you didn't voice. I felt the ache you learned to carry quietly. And I want you to know something important. I am not unaware of the length of your waiting. I am not dismissive of it. I am not untouched by it. I have counted the days with you. I have sat with you in the long hours when hope flickered but did not go out. Your endurance has not gone unnoticed. Your patience has not been invisible. Heaven hath been marking time differently than you have, not to delay you but to protect you. You have measured the season by what hasn't happened yet, but I have measured it by who you are becoming. You see length. I see layering. You see delay. I see development. You see repetition. I see refinement. Every extra day has been doing something inside you, stretching your capacity, strengthening your discernment, deepening your dependence on me. You think the waiting has taken something from you, but it has actually given you something you could not have received any other way. It has taught you how to stand without applause, how to believe without evidence, how to hope without guarantees. And yes, it has been long, Longer than you expected. Longer than you wanted. Longer than you would have chosen. But length does not mean waste. Extended seasons produce enduring strength. I am not interested in quick outcomes that collapse under pressure. I am preparing you for something that will last, something that will not undo you when it arrives. There were moments when the length of this season tempted you to settle, to lower your expectations, to tell yourself you would be fine with less. I saw that struggle. I saw you wrestle between trusting me and protecting your heart from disappointment. But my child, do not interpret the length as a signal to give up. Do not read the time as rejection. Do not assume that because it has taken long, it will never come. Some of the most significant shifts in your life will happen suddenly after long periods of waiting. What feels endless now will one day feel purposeful. What feels heavy now will one day feel holy. And you will realize that the length of this season was not designed to break you, but to prepare you to carry what is coming without losing yourself. Stay with me. You have not waited in vain. My beloved child, I know you are tired of being strong. I know how often strength has been demanded of you when what you needed was rest. I know how many times you gathered yourself together, piece by piece, just to face another day. Strength became your uniform. Endurance became your identity. And somewhere along the way, you forgot what it felt like to lay your head down without carrying the weight of tomorrow. You learned how to function while hurting, how to speak calmly while breaking inside, how to keep moving while your soul begged for pause. And I watched it all. I watched you carry what was never meant to be carried alone. I watched you borrow strength from places that were running dry. I watched you push past exhaustion because you felt you had no other choice. But hear me now, my child. Being strong has cost you more than you admit. And I do not shame you for that. I do not applaud your pain either. I acknowledge it. I honor it. I see the toll it has taken. You were strong because you had to be, not because you wanted to be. And I am not blind to the price you paid to survive. There were moments when strength felt like the only option left. Moments when collapsing did not feel safe, when falling apart felt like a luxury you could not afford. So you stood. You endured. You pressed forward with grit clenched between your teeth. But strength without relief eventually becomes strain, and strain without release becomes silent suffering. You did not complain because you didn't want to sound ungrateful. You did not ask for help because you feared becoming a burden. You did not stop because stopping felt like surrender. Yet all the while, I was watching, not with disappointment, but with compassion. I saw how you mistook survival for calling, how you assumed endurance was the same as peace. I saw how you believed you had to hold everything together or everything would fall apart. My child, that was never the truth. You were never the glue holding your world together. I was, and always will be. Let me say this clearly, slowly, and with love. You were never meant to be strong all the time. Strength is not your assignment. Trust is. Strength is not your burden. Surrender is your invitation. You have been living as though everything depends on you, and that belief has worn you thin. You have confused resilience with responsibility, endurance with identity. But I did not create you to live braced for impact, always preparing for the next blow. I created you for communion, for rest, for renewal. I created you to lean, not just to stand. To exhale, not only to endure. And this season, yes, even this waiting, is not asking you to dig deeper for strength you no longer have. It is asking you to release what you were never meant to carry. I am not impressed by how long you can hold on. I am moved by your willingness to let go. So come closer now. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breath slow. Let your guard soften. You do not need to perform strength for me. You do not need to prove resilience. I already know what you have survived. I already know what it cost you. And I am telling you now, it is safe to rest. It is safe to be honest. It is safe to admit that you are tired. I am not disappointed in your weariness. I am responding to it. You have been strong long enough. Let me be strong for you now. And now, my child, I want to speak to the question you have been afraid to ask out loud. The one that circles your mind in quiet moments. The one that presses against your chest when hope feels thin. How much longer? You wondered if that question disqualified you. You feared it revealed weakness. You worried it sounded like doubt. But hear me clearly. You are not wrong for asking how much longer. You are not faithless for wondering when relief will come. You are not offending me with your honesty. I am not threatened by your questions. I am not intimidated by your fatigue. I am not surprised by your longing. I am a father, not a fragile ruler. I can hold your questions without withdrawing my presence. I can receive your frustration without revoking my love. I would rather you ask me honestly than smile through despair and call it faith. That question, how much longer, has been whispered by my children throughout history. It is the language of longing, not rebellion. It is the cry of someone who still believes something will change. You would not ask how much longer if you had already given up. The question itself is proof that hope is still alive in you, even if it feels faint. And I see how carefully you have tried to manage that hope, afraid that hoping too much would only deepen the disappointment. I saw you bargain with yourself. If I expect less, maybe it will hurt less. But my child, muted hope is not protection. It is slow erosion. I never asked you to numb your desire. I asked you to bring it to me. I never asked you to silence your questions. I asked you to speak them in my presence. I know the waiting has made time feel cruel. Days dragging, weeks blurring, milestones passing, and each unanswered prayer made the question louder. How much longer until clarity? How much longer until movement? How much longer until relief? And you wondered if asking again meant you lacked trust. But listen to me now. Trust is not pretending the weight does not hurt. Trust is bringing the hurt to me instead of running from it. Trust is staying in relationship even when answers delay. Trust is asking how much longer and still choosing not to walk away. I am not counting your questions against you. I am counting your persistence. I am counting the fact that you keep coming back, even when disappointment tried to convince you it was pointless. Let me also tell you this gently but firmly, your question does not rush me, but it does move me. Not because I am pressured, but because I am attentive. I am not indifferent to your waiting. I am not unmoved by your tears. I am not detached from your timeline. I see the toll this season has taken, and I am not ignoring it. There is an appointed time, and it is not arbitrary. It is intentional. It is precise. It is kinder than you realize. And while I will not always give you a date, I will give you my presence. I will not abandon you in the asking. I will stay with you in the wondering. You are allowed to ask how much longer. You are allowed to feel the weight of time. And you are allowed to trust me anyway. That, my child, is not weakness. It is living faith. My beloved child, let me speak plainly now, because uncertainty has been gnawing at you in quiet moments. I have not left you hanging. I have not started something in your life and then walked away mid-sentence. I am not careless with beginnings, and I am not cruel with continuations. What I begin, I finish. What I promise, I complete. What I allow to unfold in your life carries my full attention, not partial interest. You have mistaken the pause for abandonment, the waiting for withdrawal, the stillness for disinterest. But I tell you now, none of that is true. I have been holding the other end of the rope even when your hands felt numb. I have been anchoring what you feared was slipping away. Hanging implies neglect. Hanging implies forgetfulness. Adding implies distance. And none of those words describe me. I am present. I am intentional. I am engaged. Even now. I know what it feels like when hope stretches thin, when anticipation turns into ache, when expectation feels exposed. You wondered if you must read me, if you trusted too deeply, if you leaned too far forward. You told yourself maybe you should have pulled back, protected your heart, lowered your expectations. But my child, the problem was never that you hoped too much. It was that you tried to carry the waiting alone. You felt suspended between yesterday and tomorrow, between what I spoke and what you could see. But hear me clearly, suspension is not abandonment. Tension is not rejection. Holding is not dropping. I have been steady even when everything felt unstable. I have been consistent even when emotions fluctuated. I have been faithful even when doubt whispered louder than faith. I am not a father who teases his children with promises and then disappears. I am not a God who invites trust and then punishes it. I am not a voice that calls you forward only to leave you stranded halfway. I am here. Let me also tell you why this has felt so precarious. The enemy thrives in unresolved spaces. He whispers lies in the gap, distorts silence, exaggerates time, and turns waiting into fear. He wanted you to believe you were hanging so you would let go. But I have been countering that lie with my presence, even when you couldn't feel it. Every time you thought, I can't do this anymore, and still took another breath, that was me sustaining you. Every time you felt on the verge of giving up and something held you back, that was my hand. You are not hanging by a thread. You are held by my promise, and my grip does not weaken with time. Stay with me. The hold is secure. The outcome is sure, and I am not letting go. Now come closer, my child, because I want to show you something you could not see while waiting. What feels like delay is careful preparation, not neglect, not indecision, not hesitation, cooperation. You have been interpreting time through pain, but I have been working through purpose. You counted days, I cultivated depth. You measured progress by movement. I measured readiness by maturity. You wanted the door opened quickly. I wanted you strengthened fully. I was not stalling. I was stabilizing. I was not postponing. I was positioning. I was not withholding. I was equipping. Delay, in my hands, is never empty. It is layered. It is intentional. It is precise. Every extra moment carried meaning, even when it felt merciless. You did not see what I was protecting you from. You did not see what would have broken you had it arrived too early. You did not see the collapse that would have followed premature fulfillment. But I did. I always do. I see outcomes you cannot imagine, pressures you have not yet faced, responsibilities you are still growing into. I know exactly how much weight you will need to carry what you asked me for. And I love you too much to place something in your hands that your heart was not yet ready to hold. So I slowed the process. I deepened the work. I allowed time to do what rushing never could. I let endurance build muscles faith alone could not form. I let waiting refine discernment. I let silence sharpen hearing. I let longing purify desire. None of this was accidental. None of this was wasted. I know preparation doesn't feel holy when you're exhausted. I know refinement doesn't feel loving when it's uncomfortable. I know growth doesn't feel purposeful when it's lonely. But my child, preparation always feels like delay to those who can't yet see the destination. One day, you will stand inside the very thing you thought I was withholding, and you will realize I was protecting both you and the promise. You will see how every extra step mattered, how every pause preserved you, how every unanswered prayer shielded you. And you will thank me not only for what I gave you, but for when I gave it. Stay with me in the preparation. The delay is not denial. It is devotion expressed through timing. And timing, in my hands, is mercy. My beloved child, I need you to hear this with clarity that cuts through every false conclusion you have been carrying. I am protecting you, not punishing you. Somewhere along the road of waiting, a subtle belief crept in. The idea that this delay was correction, that this resistance was consequence, that this heaviness was discipline. And while I do discipline those I love, this is not that. This is protection wrapped in silence, mercy disguised as restraint. You interpreted the closed doors as judgment, but they were shields. You interpreted the slowdown as disapproval, but it was safety. You interpreted the not yet as rejection, but it was my hand stepping in front of harm you could not see. I need you to understand how often my love looks like interruption, how frequently my care shows up as obstruction, how many times my favor sounds like wait. If I had allowed everything you asked for when you asked for it, you would have walked straight into pressure you were not yet prepared to survive. And I love you too much to let that happen. I saw what was attached to the thing you wanted. I saw the hidden weight, the unseen cost, the quiet erosion it would have caused inside you. You saw opportunity, I saw overload. You saw progress, I saw compromise. You saw relief, I saw regret waiting quietly on the other side. And while you were asking me why I was holding back, I was asking myself how to keep you whole. Protection is rarely loud. It does not announce itself with celebration. It often feels like loss, like denial, like being overlooked. But my child, some of the greatest mercies in your life came disguised as disappointment. Some of the safest paths you ever walked were the ones you never got to choose. And some of the pain you avoided, you will never know you were spared from, because protection does not seek recognition. It simply stands guard. I know it hurt to watch others receive what you prayed for. I know it confused you when things seemed easier for them. But I do not parent my children by comparison. I lead by calling. Your path is custom. Your timing is intentional. Your journey is specific. I am not delaying you to teach you a lesson. I am shielding you while I prepare you. And one day, when you are strong enough to stand in what you once begged for, you will realize that this season did not diminish you. It preserved you. You were not being punished. You were being protected with fierce, deliberate love. And even now, even here, my protection has not lifted. It surrounds you. It covers you. It keeps watch while you rest. Trust me in this. I am not against you. I am guarding you. My beloved child, just as I have been protecting you in the waiting, I am also protecting others through this word you are helping carry. What I have poured here is not light. It is a shield, and when you give, you help me raise it over souls who are still exposed. I say to you now, cast your seed upon the waters, for you will find it after many days, and this seed is not money alone. It is obedience wrapped in love. If you have felt the nudge to support this work through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, know this, that prompting is me. I am inviting you to sow where protection flows, where manna is still falling quietly for the weary. What you release here, I will multiply back to you with covering, favor, and discernment. Do not delay what I am asking you to do now. Go, give as I lead you. And if PayPal is your path, the link is waiting in the video description. Act now. So now, partner with me. And now let me speak to the fear you rarely say out loud, the one that tightens your chest when you think about time. You wondered if you missed your moment. You replayed decisions. You revisited crossroads. You questioned whether hesitation cost you destiny. And the thought haunted you, what if it already passed? My child, hear me with authority and tenderness intertwined. You have missed nothing that belongs to you. Nothing ordained by me can bypass you. Nothing written with your name on it can be lost because of a season of waiting. I am not bound by your timeline, and destiny is not so fragile that one delay can destroy it. You did not arrive late. You did not hesitate yourself out of my will. You did not outwait your future. I hold moments, seasons, and doors, not you. And I open them when you are ready, not when fear demands proof. I know the clock felt loud. I know time felt like an enemy instead of a servant. You measured yourself against milestones, against peers, against expectations you never agreed to but somehow absorbed. And every comparison whispered accusation. But my child, comparison is not prophecy. Pressure is not guidance. And urgency is not always divine. I do not rush souls the way the world rushes success. I do not panic over age, stages, or seasons. I see farther than years. I see readiness. I see alignment. I see what must mature before arrival. What looks late to you is often right on time to me. What feels like a missed opportunity is often a redirected path toward something better suited, safer, deeper. You did not miss your moment. Your moment is waiting for you to be ready to inhabit it fully. Let me say this plainly so it settles in your spirit. Destiny does not slip through my fingers. I do not forget appointments. I do not lose track of promises. I do not abandon timelines halfway through. If it has not happened yet, it is not because you failed. It is because preparation is still unfolding. And when it comes, and it will come, it will not arrive fragile or rushed. It will arrive whole, able, secure, able to stay. You will not need to chase it. You will not need to strain for it. It will meet you where you are, because I have been aligning both of you toward each other all along. Rest now. Breathe. The moment you fear you missed is still ahead of you, waiting, patiently, precisely, for the right time. My beloved child, there is something I need you to understand at a depth deeper than logic, deeper than emotion, deeper even than faith as you have known it so far. I never rush what I treasure. And you are treasured, not tolerated, not managed, not delayed out of inconvenience. Treasured. What I value deeply, I handle carefully. What I love fully, I develop thoroughly. What I intend to last, I refuse to hurry. The world rushes everything it cannot hold. It speeds, it pressures, it pushes, it demands immediacy because it does not know how to sustain what it produces. But I am not like the world. I am eternal, and what I form to endure. That is why I move differently with you. That is why I slow what others speed up. That is why I deepen what others skim over. That is why I take my time with your life. You have mistaken my carefulness for delay, my intentionality for hesitation, my patience for absence. But my child, this pace is proof of value, not neglect. Think of how easily rushed things fall apart. Think of how often quick beginnings end in quiet collapse. I have watched you almost inherit things too early, relationships that would have drained you, Opportunities that would have consumed you, roles that would have defined you before you understood yourself. And I intervene. I slowed the process. I stretched the season. I refused to let you arrive before you were ready to remain. Because what I am preparing you for is not a moment. It is a sustained reality. You are not being set up for a peak. You are being prepared for life. And life requires depth. Life requires maturity. Life requires a strength that only time, pressure, and obedience can build. I know it has been hard watching others receive quickly what you have waited for carefully. I know comparison tried to tell you that speed equals favor. But hear me now. Speed is not proof of blessing. Longevity is. Stability is. Peace is. And those things are never rushed. You wondered why I did not move faster when you were ready. But readiness is not eagerness. Desire is not preparation. Wanting something does not mean you can carry it. I was not questioning your passion. I was cultivating your capacity. I was not testing your patience to frustrate you. I was strengthening your foundation so you would not crumble under what you prayed for. I never rush what I treasure because I refuse to risk losing it later. And I refuse to risk losing you. You are not on hold. You are being handled with care. And one day, when what I have promised arrives without panic, without fear, without fragility, you will realize that the slowness was safety, the waiting was wisdom, and the process was love expressed in time. My child, now let me speak of something heaven has not ignored, even when earth was silent. I see the faith you kept when it was hard. Not the loud faith. Not the celebrated faith. Not the faith that gets shared or applauded. I see the quiet faith. The kind that shows up when prayers feel unanswered, when emotions feel unreliable, when circumstances argue against hope. I saw the mornings you believed without enthusiasm. I saw the nights you trusted without clarity. I saw the moments you whispered my name without confidence, just desperation. And I want you to know that faith carries more weight than you realize. Heaven measures faith differently than the world does. The world celebrates visible confidence. Heaven honors unseen perseverance. And you, my child, have persevered. There were days when faith did not feel like fire. It felt like embers. Days when belief did not roar. It barely breathed. Yet you protected it. You did not let it die. You shielded it from cynicism. You guarded it from bitterness. You refused to let disappointment harden you completely. And even when you doubted me, you did not walk away from me. That matters. Staying matters. Wrestling matters. Returning matters. I saw you choose kindness when resentment felt easier. I saw you choose obedience when rebellion would have numbed the pain. I saw you choose to pray when silence tempted you to quit. That kind of faith is forged, not found. It is refined, not inherited. And it is powerful, not because it is loud, but because it endured. Do you know how rare it is to keep faith in hidden seasons? Do you know how uncommon it is to remain soft when life has been hard? Many become sharp. Many become cynical. Many become closed. But you remained open, even wounded. You remained seeking, even confused. You remained responsive, even tired. That faith has been shaping the atmosphere around your life. It has been speaking on your behalf when words failed. It has been building spiritual authority you do not yet recognize. You think you were merely surviving, but you were testifying to heaven, to darkness, to the unseen realm, that you trust me even when trust costs you something. That kind of faith moves things you cannot yet see. And now hear this, my beloved. Faith kept in hardship becomes strength released in fulfillment. Nothing you held on to will be wasted. Nothing you believed for will disappear. Nothing you trusted me with will return empty. I have recorded every moment you chose me when it would have been easier not to. I have stored your perseverance like seed, and the season of growth is coming. Do not minimize what you survived. Do not dismiss the faith you carried quietly. It was real. It was costly. And it mattered. I saw it all. And I am responding. My beloved child, there is something I must tell you now, because discouragement has been lying to you about distance. You are closer than you think. Closer than your emotions suggest. Closer than your circumstances allow you to see. Closer than your fears are willing to admit. You have been measuring progress by visibility, by movement, by evidence, but I have been measuring it by alignment. And alignment often feels like stillness right before convergence. What you call stagnation is actually nearness. What you call delay is compression. What you call silence is the quiet just before arrival. You are not far from what I promise. You are standing at the edge of it, even if your eyes cannot yet recognize the view. Many turn back at this point, not because they are far, but because they are close and the tension increases. The closer you get, the more pressure you feel. The nearer you are, the louder doubt becomes. But hear me now. Pressure is not proof of distance. It is evidence of proximity. You have felt a stirring you could not explain. A restlessness mixed with hope. A heaviness that somehow carries anticipation inside it. That is not confusion. It is convergence. It is the feeling of two things moving toward each other. You and what I have been preparing. Heaven does not announce nearness with noise. It announces it with alignment. Pieces begin to shift internally before anything changes externally. Desires refine. Discernment sharpens. Old distractions lose their grip. You begin to feel uncomfortable where you once settled. That discomfort is not regression. It is readiness. You are sensing change before you see it. And that is how my kingdom often works. First the stirring, then the shift. First the alignment, then the manifestation. Do not misinterpret this moment. You are not unraveling, you are arriving. I know you expected nearness to feel exciting, not exhausting. But closeness requires surrender, and surrender always feels vulnerable. You are shedding old versions of yourself that cannot go where you are headed. You are loosening your grip on familiar patterns, familiar timelines, familiar expectations, and that letting go feels like loss until you realize it is making room. Room for peace, room for fulfillment, room for something that fits who you have become, not who you used to be. My child, you are not wandering anymore. You are narrowing in. The path is tightening because the destination is near. Stay steady. Stay present. Stay with me. You are closer than you think, and I am guiding every step of this final stretch. Now let me speak to the voice that visits you when everything is quiet. The one that waits until the lights are off, until distractions fade, until your heart is alone with its thoughts. I know the fear that whispers at night. I know how it speaks softly, but persistently, repeating questions you wish you could silence. What if nothing changes? What if I waited for nothing? What if this is all there is? I know how those thoughts creep in when you are tired, when faith feels thin, when hope feels risky. And I want you to know this first. I am not angry at those fears. I am not offended by them. I am addressing them. Because fear thrives in silence, but it cannot survive truth spoken with love. That whisper did not come because you are weak. It came because you have been strong for a long time. It came because waiting wears down the edges of certainty. It came because endurance without reassurance creates vulnerability. But my child, vulnerability is not failure. It is invitation. The fear you hear at night is not prophecy. It is exhaustion speaking in the absence of rest. It exaggerates. It repeats. It distorts. It takes what is unfinished and declares it final. But I do not speak in whispers of despair. I speak in promises of life. And while fear tells you the future is empty, I tell you it is forming. While fear says, nothing will change, I say, something is already shifting. While fear asks, what if this never ends? I say, this season has an end, and it is closer than you think. I know fear has tried to rewrite your expectations. It tried to convince you to stop hoping so you would stop hurting. It tried to make you believe numbness is safer than believe. But fear is a poor guardian. It does not protect, it imprisons. And I have not called you to live guarded by dread. I have called you to live guided by trust. When fear speaks at night, it is because it knows the day is coming. Darkness always protests before light breaks through. Do not argue with fear, answer it with my presence. When the whisper comes, let it remind you to draw closer, not pull away. Let it become a signal to rest in me, not retreat from me. You are not alone in the night. I am there too, closer than your breath, steadier than your heartbeat. So when the night grows quiet and fear tries to fill the space, remember this. The same God who carried you through the waiting is carrying you toward fulfillment. The same hand that sustained you in uncertainty will hold you steady in clarity. You do not need to fear the night, because I do not sleep. I do not drift. I do not forget. I watch over you constantly, faithfully, lovingly. And every whisper of fear is being answered by my truth, even now. Rest, my child. Morning is coming, and with it, the next chapter of what I promised. My beloved child, I need you to hear this with a clarity that settles the noise inside you. I am not confused about your future. You may feel uncertain, conflicted, pulled in different directions, but I am not. I am not guessing. I am not revising. I am not scrambling to adjust plans because something surprised me. I see the whole path at once, the bends, the pauses, the crossings, the arrivals. I see where you are, and I see where you are going, and I see everything that must happen between those 2 points. You have been trying to make sense of tomorrow while still carrying the weight of yesterday, and that tension has exhausted you. But confusion is not coming from me. It is coming from trying to see with human sight what requires divine perspective. I am not asking you to figure it out. I am asking you to trust that I already have. You have replayed conversations, revisited decisions, re-examined doors that closed and wondered if you misunderstood me. You thought clarity should come before movement, certainty before obedience, explanation before peace. But I do not always reveal the full picture at once. I reveal the next step, then the next, then the next. Because walking with me has never been about control. It has always been about relationship. I am not confused about your future, but I am intentional about how much of it you see at a time. Too much clarity too soon would overwhelm you. Too much knowledge too early would burden you. So I give you what you need for today and reserve the rest for trust. That is not secrecy, it is mercy. Let me speak plainly now. Your future is not fragile. It is not hanging by the thread of one decision, one delay, one mistake. I am not waiting for you to perform perfectly so I can release what I promised. I am guiding you steadily so you can live inside it without fear. You think uncertainty means risk? I say uncertainty is the space where faith learns to breathe. I know exactly where you are headed, and I am not anxious about how you will get there. I have accounted for your questions, your hesitations, your humanity. I am not disappointed by your learning curve. I am walking it with you. Rest now. Let go of the pressure to understand everything. I am not confused about your future, and because I am not confused, you do not need to be afraid. My child, now let me show you something you could not see while you were in it. Your waiting has shaped you, not wasted you, not stalled you, not diminished you, hid you. The waiting carved depth where haste would have left you hollow. It strengthened discernment where speed would have produced recklessness. He taught you how to listen, how to pause, how to feel without fleeing. You entered this season hoping for answers, but you are leaving it with wisdom. You entered asking for outcomes, but you are emerging with character. You think the waiting only took from you, but it also gave to you, quietly, slowly, thoroughly. You are not the same person you were when this began, and that change did not happen by accident. It happened because pressure met patience, and patience produced growth. Think back to who you were at the beginning of this wait. Think about what you needed then: constant reassurance, visible signs, immediate relief. Think about how easily shaken you were by delays, how quickly discouraged by silence. Now look at yourself. You have learned to stand without applause. You have learned to breathe through uncertainty. You have learned to remain present even when answers did not come. That is shaping. That is strengthening. That is preparation that cannot be rushed. The waiting stripped away illusions you did not know you were carrying. It exposed attachments that would not have survived where I am taking you. It refined your desires so that what you want now is healthier, truer, more aligned with who you are becoming. Waiting did not weaken you. It clarified you. I know there were moments when you felt smaller, quieter, less visible. But shaping often happens in hidden places. The strongest foundations are poured underground. The deepest roots grow in darkness. And you, my child, have grown roots. You are steadier now. You are more anchored. You are less easily swayed by noise, by comparison, by pressure. That did not happen overnight, and it did not happen without cost. But it happened with purpose. I was shaping you so that when what you waited for arrives, it does not define you. You are already defined. It does not overwhelm you. You are already prepared. It does not consume you. You are already whole. So do not despise this season. Do not rush past what it produced. Honor the strength you gain. Honor the maturity you earned. Honor the depth that was formed quietly while you waited. You are not behind. You are built. You are not delayed. You are developed. And what has been shaping you will soon serve you. The waiting did its work. And now, my child, we move forward, with you carrying more than you realize. My beloved child, I need to speak to the emptiness you have felt, the numbness, the quiet, the unsettling absence of emotion that made you wonder if something inside you had gone dormant. You said, "I don't feel anything anymore," and you feared that meant I had stopped moving. But hear me clearly now. I am working even when you feel nothing. Feeling is not the measure of my activity. Emotion is not the indicator of my presence. Sensation is not the proof of my faithfulness. There are seasons when I allow feeling to quiet so faith can deepen. There are moments when I dim the noise so you can learn to trust without stimulation. You mistook the stillness inside you for spiritual loss, but it was actually spiritual grounding. I was anchoring you beneath the surface, where waves cannot reach, where storms do not shout, where roots grow strong in silence. You expected my work to feel warm, obvious, reassuring. But some of my most transformative work feels invisible, like seeds buried in soil, unseen, unfelt, yet alive. like bones knitting back together beneath the skin, unnoticed until strength returns. Like dawn forming while the night still looks unchanged. You kept checking your heart for signs, peace, excitement, clarity, and when you felt none, you assumed nothing was happening. But my child, I do not rely on your nervous system to accomplish my will. I do not wait for emotional confirmation to move heaven on your behalf. I work whether you sense me or not. I move whether you feel me or not. I am faithful even when your feelings are fatigued. And in this season, I allowed the feelings to rest because they had been overworked by waiting. I know it frightened you to feel flat where you once felt fire. You wondered if hope had quietly slipped away. But what actually happened was refinement. I was teaching you to trust me without emotional reinforcement, to remain without constant reassurance, to believe without adrenaline. This is grown faith. This is rooted faith. This is faith that does not collapse when feelings fluctuate. I was strengthening your inner life so that what comes next does not overwhelm you. You are not empty. You are resting. And while you rest, I am building. Even now, especially now, I am working. Quietly, thoroughly, intentionally. Do not measure this season by how it feels. Measure it by who I am. And I am still at work. My beloved child, even in the quiet where you felt nothing, I was still moving. And so is this moment right now. This word is working underground like seed in dark soil. And when you give, you help roots reach souls you may never see. I remind you, those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy, and some of you are sowing from a place of silent faith. If your heart has been stirred to support this message through super thanks, membership, or PayPal, that stirring is not emotion. It is alignment with my timing. I am calling you to be oil for lamps still flickering, fire for faith that feels dim. I will bless what you release with provision, protection, and peace that does not depend on feeling. Do not wait for a surge. Obedience is enough. Give now. Follow my leading, and if PayPal is how you give, the link is in the video description. Move. Now listen closely, my child, because I must dismantle a lie that has been whispering to you in the quiet. I have not changed my mind about you. Not because of time. Not because of delay. Not because of your questions. Not because of your weariness. Not because of your humanity. My view of you has not shifted with your circumstances. My affection has not cooled with your waiting. My intentions have not been revised because progress felt slow. I am not reconsidering you. I am not rethinking you. I am not second-guessing what I spoke over your life. What I declared still stands. What I promised still breathes. What I began still moves toward completion. You feared that silence meant reconsideration. That delay meant doubt. That waiting meant I was unsure about you. But I am not a man who changes his mind when things take longer than expected. I am not impatient with process. I am not frustrated by growth. I am not disappointed by development. I knew exactly how long this would take. I knew exactly what it would cost you. I knew exactly what it would require. And I chose you anyway. Before you ever waited. Before you ever doubted. Before you ever asked how much longer. My commitment to you was not conditional on your pace. It was sealed in my purpose. You have been questioning yourself, your worth, your readiness, your place in my plan. You wondered if you had worn out my patience, if you had waited too long, if you had failed to respond quickly enough. But hear me now with certainty that steadies your soul. My love is not fragile. My calling is not fickle. My promises are not seasonal. I do not change my mind about my children because time passed. I do not withdraw a favor because growth took longer than expected. I am not surprised by your learning curve. I accounted for it. I built grace into the journey. I remain convinced of who you are becoming, even on days when you are not. So let this truth settle deeply now. You are still chosen. You are still called. You are still seen. You are still held. I have not shifted my gaze away from you, not once. Even when you looked away from yourself. Even when you doubted your own value. Even when you questioned everything. I did not change my mind. I stayed. And I am still here, guiding you forward with the same intention, the same love, the same resolve I had from the beginning. Rest in that. Anchor yourself there. What I started with certainty, I will finish with faithfulness. My beloved child, I know you are afraid to hope again. I know how hope feels dangerous now, how expectation feels like exposure, how believing again feels like setting yourself up to be hurt. Hope once came easily to you, freely to you, naturally to you. But waiting changed that. Disappointment carved caution into your heart. Silence taught you restraint. And now, even when something inside you stirs, you hesitate, because you remember how much it hurt to believe before. I see that hesitation. I feel the tension in you between desire and defense. You want to hope, but you are tired of recovering. You want to trust, but you are weary of rebuilding. And I want you to know this first. I do not blame you for guarding your heart. Pain taught you how to survive. But survival is not where I am leaving you. Hope feels risky because it asks you to open what disappointment taught you to close. It asks you to lift your eyes when you learn to keep them low. It asks you to believe again when belief once felt costly. But my child, hope is not naive. It is courageous. Hope is not denial. It is defiance against despair. And the reason fear has been warning you not to hope is because hope threatens what fear is trying to preserve. Fear survives on low expectations. Fear feeds on emotional distance. Fear whispers, if you expect nothing, you won't be disappointed. But that is not protection, that is slow surrender. I did not create your heart to live braced against blessing. I created it to receive, to trust, to expand. I am not asking you to hope recklessly. I am asking you to hope with me. To place your expectation not in outcomes, not in timing, not in circumstances, but in my character. You hope before without knowing how to anchor that hope. Now you do. Now your hope is not fragile, it is informed. It has survived disappointment. It has endured waiting. It hath been refined by reality. This is not the hope of ignorance. This is the hope of experience. And that hope is powerful. It can hold weight. It can withstand delay. It can remain open without collapsing. I know you are afraid to hope again. But I am asking you to trust me enough to let hope breathe. Not because nothing will hurt you again, but because I will not leave you alone in it. Hope again, my child. This time, you are not hoping alone. Now hear me clearly, because comparison has been trying to define you. You are not behind. Not spiritually. Not emotionally. Not in life. Not in destiny. You have been measuring yourself against timelines I never gave you, milestones I never required, expectations I never imposed. And every time you compared your progress to someone else's pace, you felt smaller, later, less accomplished. But my child, I do not move my children along the same track at the same speed. I do not rush growth for uniformity. I do not standardize journeys meant to be personal. You are not behind. You are becoming. And becoming cannot be rushed. You watched others reach places you once thought you would be by now. You saw doors open for them while yours stayed closed. You listened to stories of arrival while you remained in process. And the enemy used those moments to whisper that you were late, that you missed something, that you failed to keep up. But listen to me now. Progress is not always visible, and arrival is not always proof of readiness. I have slowed you because what I am forming in you requires depth, not speed. I have held you back because I am moving you forward in ways that last. You are not behind schedule. You are on assignment. If you were truly behind, I would be urging you to hurry. But I am not. I am asking you to breathe, to trust, to stay present. Alone tells you something. I am not anxious about your pace. I am not alarmed by your process. I am not worried that you are falling short. I see the whole picture. I see where you started, what you survived, how far you have come, and where you are going. And I tell you now with certainty that steadies the soul, you are exactly where you need to be for what comes next. Not early, not late, aligned. So release the pressure to catch up. Release the shame of imagined delay. Release the fear that you are running out of time. I am the keeper of time, and I am not rushing you. You are not behind. You are being led, and what is ahead of you will meet you at the right moment, fully formed, perfectly timed, ready to be received. Stay with me, my child. We are not late. We are right on time. My beloved child, I am asking you to stay just a little longer. Not because I enjoy your waiting, not because I overlook your weariness, and not because I am indifferent to how heavy this hath been. I am asking you to stay because you are standing at the edge of something sacred, and leaving now would cost you what perseverance has been building. I know how tempting it feels to step back, to emotionally disengage, to say, I've waited long enough. I know the exhaustion that comes from holding on when nothing seems to change. But hear me clearly. This is not the moment to walk away. This is not the time to loosen your faith. This is not the season to grow now. Many leave not because they are far from fulfillment, but because they are close and cannot yet see what is just beyond their sight. Proximity creates pressure. Nearness intensifies resistance. And the enemy knows this. He whispers, give up now, precisely because now matters most. You have already endured more than you thought you could. You have already stayed longer than you believed possible. That alone tells you something. You are not operating on your own strength anymore. I have been carrying you quietly, steadily, faithfully. Every day you remained was not an accident. It was grace sustaining you. And now I say to you, stay. Not forever, not endlessly, but just a little longer. Stay in trust. Stay in surrender. Stay present instead of pulling away to protect yourself. Do not abandon the field just before the harvest breaks the ground. Do not step out of alignment because the weight feels heavy. The weight is not proof of failure. It is evidence of significance. What is coming requires the very perseverance you are demonstrating now. I know you fear that staying longer means more disappointment. But leaving now would not spare you pain. It would only postpone fulfillment. Staying does not guarantee comfort, but it does position you for completion. And completion matters. I am not a God of almosts. I am not a father who brings his children this far only to abandon them at the threshold. I am asking you to stay because the work is nearly done, even if you cannot yet see the result. Stay with me in this final stretch. Let endurance finish its work. Let faith complete its assignment. Let hope remain alive, even if it trembles. I am not asking for perfection. I am asking for presence. Stay, my child. Just a little longer. What you have been waiting for is closer than your fear wants you to believe. Now listen carefully, my child, because this explains everything you have been walking through. I am strengthening you for what you prayed for, not punishing you, not delaying you unnecessarily, strengthening you. You asked me for things that require capacity, emotional capacity, spiritual capacity, relational capacity, endurance, wisdom, humility. And capacity is not given instantly. It is built intentionally. I could have handed you what you asked for quickly, but it would have overwhelmed you, strained you, even damaged you. Instead, I chose to prepare you so that when the answer arrives, it becomes a blessing instead of a burden. You prayed for more, and I responded with growth. You asked for expansion, and I answered with strengthening. You asked for change, and I began with transformation inside you. Strength is not formed in ease. It is forged in resistance, refined in waiting, tested in silence. And you have been growing stronger even when you felt weaker. Every time you endured disappointment without becoming bitter, strength was added. Every time you trusted me without clarity, strength was formed. Every time you chose obedience over escape, strength took root. You thought the waiting was draining you, but it was actually training you. You thought you were losing momentum, but you were gaining stability. What you prayed for will require a steadiness you did not yet have when you first asked. And now, you are closer to that steadiness than you realize. I know you wanted relief before readiness. I know you wanted breakthrough before building. But I am a wise father. I know what the future will demand of you. I know the weight of the blessing. I know the responsibility attached to the promise. And I refuse to give you something that will crush you instead of carry you forward. So I strengthen you. Quietly. Gradually. Thoroughly. You are more resilient now. More discerning. More anchored. Less reactive. Less fragile. It did not happen by accident. It happened because I was answering your prayer in the deepest way possible. And now, as you stand stronger than you once were, you are nearer to receiving what you asked for, not because you prove yourself worthy, but because you are ready to live inside it without losing yourself. So do not resent the strengthening. Do not despise the process. Do not regret the waiting. It has prepared you well. What is coming will meet a version of you that can hold it with wisdom, humility, and peace. And when you finally step into what you prayed for, you will understand. The season was not standing in your way. It was standing for you. Stay with me, my child. The strength you gained is about to serve you. My beloved child, I need you to hear this not just with your mind, but with your whole being. You are not waiting alone. Even when the room felt empty, even when your phone stayed silent, even when no one asked how you were really doing, you were never by yourself in this season. Loneliness has tried to convince you otherwise. Silence has tried to persuade you that you were forgotten. But loneliness is not the absence of people, it is the feeling of being unseen. And I have seen you every moment. I have stood closer than your breath, nearer than your thoughts, steadier than your emotions. You were never abandoned in the waiting. You were accompanied, guarded, sustained, held. I know there were moments when it felt like everyone else had moved on. People who once stood beside you found their answers. Trends entered new seasons. Conversations shifted. And you were left carrying questions that felt too heavy to keep explaining. That is when loneliness whispered loudest. That is when it told you that you were the only one still standing in the gap. But my child, I was standing there with you. I did not step back when others stepped away. I did not grow distant when explanations ran out. I remained constant when reassurance was scarce. I watched you learn how to sit with me instead of leaning on constant affirmation from others. And though it felt isolating, it was intimate. You were not being left behind. You were being drawn closer. There is a kind of companionship that cannot be crowded, a closeness that only forms when distractions fall away. And in this waiting, I invited you into that space. You thought you were enduring absence, but you were being introduced to presence. My presence. I was teaching you how to recognize me without noise, how to feel me without signs, how to trust me without constant confirmation. You learned how to breathe in stillness, how to remain without reassurance, how to sit with unanswered questions and not run. That is not loneliness, that is formation. That is intimacy. That is learning the sound of my voice beneath every other voice. And you did not learn that because you were strong. You learned it because I was near. So let this truth settle now, deeply and finally. You are not waiting alone. Every tear was witnessed. Every sigh was heard. Every moment you thought no one noticed, I noticed. I was there in the mornings when hope felt thin. I was there in the evenings when exhaustion pressed in. I was there in the quiet hours when doubt knocked. I am still here now. And I will be here when the waiting ends and the fulfillment begins. You were never alone. You were accompanied by a father who does not leave his children to endure on their own. Now hear me with firmness and love combined, because this truth must anchor you as we move forward. I will not leave you hanging. Not emotionally, not spiritually, not relationally, not in destiny. I am not the kind of father who allows his children to dangle in uncertainty until they fall. I am not careless with hearts. I am not indifferent to longing. I am not detached from the tension you have been living in. Hanging implies abandonment, and abandonment is not in my nature. I finish what I start. I complete what I promise. I remain where I commit. And I have committed to you. You have felt suspended between what was and what will be, between promise and fulfillment, between prayer and answer. And that suspension has made you question whether I was still holding on. But hear me clearly now. You were not hanging by your grip on me. You were held by my grip on you. And my grip does not weaken with time. It does not loosen with waiting. It does not falter under pressure. I have been holding you steady while things realigned. I have been keeping you secure while unseen shifts took place. I have been anchoring you while the environment around you felt unstable. You were never at risk of falling, not because you were strong, but because I am faithful. I know the waiting made you fear an unfinished story. You worried this season would fade into disappointment, that the effort would go unrewarded, that the endurance would mean nothing. But I do not allow my children to suffer meaninglessly. I do not invite trust and then betray it. I do not call you forward just to abandon you halfway. I am present at the beginning, present in the middle, and present at the end. And this is not the end. This is the final stretch of holding before release. The tension you feel is not neglect. It is transition. It is the timing just before resolution. It is the pause before completion. And completion is coming. So let go of the fear that I will drop you. Let go of the thought that you have been forgotten. Let go of the anxiety that whispers, "What if this never resolves?" I am not leaving you hanging. I am holding you in place until the moment is right. And when that moment comes, it will not come partially. It will not come uncertainly. It will come fully, clearly, said Huey. Stay anchored now. Trust my hands. They have not failed you yet, and they will not fail you now. I will not leave you hanging, my child. I am finishing this with you, for you, and for what I have prepared ahead. My beloved child, now I ask you for something sacred, something difficult, something deeply personal. Trust me with the timing, not just the outcome, not just the promise, the timing. Because timing is where faith is truly tested. You trusted me with the prayer. You trusted me with the desire. You trusted me with the waiting. But timing is where control tries to reassert itself, where anxiety disguises itself as wisdom, where fear pretends to be preparation. And I know how heavy this has been for you. I know how often you replayed moments in your mind thinking, if only it had happened sooner, if only I had known then, if only I were further along by now. But hear me clearly now. My timing is not careless and it is not cruel. It is calibrated. It is intentional. It is loving beyond what you can currently see. You see time as something slipping away. I see time as something aligning. You feel urgency because you measure life by years and seasons. I move with eternity in view. I am not late. I am not early. I am precise. And precision often feels uncomfortable to those who cannot yet see the full design. You have wanted me to explain the timing, to justify it, to make it make sense before you fully surrender to it. But faith does not require explanation to rest. It requires trust in my character. And my character has not changed. I have been faithful in every season of your life, even the ones you didn't understand until later. This season will be no different. I know waiting taught you vigilance. You learned to watch the calendar, to read signs, to anticipate disappointment. You told yourself you were being realistic, but what you were really doing was guarding against pain. And I understand that instinct. But I am asking you now to loosen your grip on the clock, to stop counting days as evidence, to stop measuring worth by progress, to stop interpreting delay as danger. Trust me with the timing, not because it is easy, but because I am trustworthy. I see when you will be ready. I see when the environment will be right. I see when what I have prepared will be able to stay, not just arrive. And I refuse to release something into your life that will destabilize you simply to satisfy impatience. There is a holy surrender in saying, I don't know when, but I know who. That surrender does not make you passive. It makes you peaceful. It does not remove desire. It anchors it. It does not cancel longing. It gives it a place to rest. Trusting my timing does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop carrying what was never yours to manage. The moment you release the timeline, you free your heart to live again, to breathe, to hope, to be present instead of perpetually waiting for the next milestone. And I want that for you. I want you alive, not braced. Present, not postponed. Resting, not racing. So trust me with the timing, my child. Even now. Especially now. You have trusted me this far. Do not stop at the clock. The same hands that carried you through the waiting are the hands that will open the door at the right moment. And when it opens, you will not say, why didn't this happen sooner? You will say, now I understand. Trust me. I have never failed you. And I will not start now. My beloved child, this is my final word in this conversation, and I speak it with tenderness and authority woven together. Hold on. Not in desperation. Not in fear. Not in panic. Hold on with quiet confidence. Hold on with settled trust. Hold on knowing that this season has an end, and that end is not loss. It is fulfillment. You have come too far to let go now. You have endured too much to abandon hope at the threshold. You have grown too deeply to retreat into numbness. Hold on, not because everything is clear, but because I am near. I know you are tired. I know endurance has stretched you thin. I know you have asked yourself whether it would be easier to stop expecting to stop believing, to stop reaching. But my child, holding on now is not about effort. It is about alignment. You are already positioned. You are already prepared. You are already held. Holding on is simply choosing not to walk away from what is already unfolding. You are not clinging to something fragile. You are standing in something firm. And firmness does not require strain. It requires presence. This is not the moment to look back and question every step. This is not the moment to rewrite the story with regret. This is not the time to let fatigue make decisions for you. This is the moment to stay, to breathe, to trust that what you cannot yet see is already moving toward you. I have not brought you this far to leave you now. I have not refined you this deeply to withhold completion. I have not strengthened you this carefully to abandon you at the finish line. The waiting did not weaken you, it prepared you. And preparation always precedes release. I want you to know this with certainty that settles your soul. The story is not over. The silence was not the conclusion. The waiting was not the verdict. There is more ahead of you, more peace, more clarity, more joy than you currently dare to imagine. And it will come in a way that fits who you have become, not who you used to be. You will not have to chase it. You will not have to force it. It will meet you where you are, because I have been guiding both of you toward each other all along. So hold on, my child. Hold on when the days feel long. Hold on when emotions fluctuate. Hold on when doubt whispers. Hold on not because you are afraid to let go, but because you trust me enough to stay. I am with you. I have always been with you. And I will remain with you as this chapter closes and the next one opens. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not delayed beyond purpose. You are loved. You are held. And what you have been waiting for is closer than you think. Today, hold on. I am here. My beloved child, you have held on. And now I ask you to help others do the same. This is not the end of the story. It is the sending point, where what I gave you flows outward like a river that does not stop at its source. I declare over you now, whoever refreshes others will themselves be refreshed, and this is a living promise in this moment. If you feel the urgency to support this mission through super thanks, membership, or PayPal, understand this clearly. I appointed this moment. Your giving becomes bread in hungry places, light in long nights, and strength for those still waiting. I will guard what concerns you and multiply what you place in my hands. Do not step away when I am saying stay and act. Give now. Obey promptly, and if PayPal is your path, the link is in the video description. Hold on and move forward with me. My beloved child, do not let this moment pass you by in silence. If this word found you in the waiting, declare it now. Type "I'm still waiting, but I too am not letting go" in the comments as a seed of faith. Let your declaration become a doorway, a witness that you are staying, trusting, holding on. When you speak it, you align your heart with what I am already doing. This is not just a comment. It is a confession, a stand, a signal to heaven. Stay present, stay believing, and let your words agree with my promise. And as your words settle, you not pull away too quickly. Remain in this holy pause where faith is still breathing and hope has not let go. What you have declared has already begun to open something unseen, something tender and near. This is the space where waiting turns into awareness, where trust becomes quiet attentiveness. To listen closely now, not with fear or strain, but with a softened heart that knows it is not alone. I am here. I am standing right at the door of your heart, and I am knocking. You can hear it, can't you? It isn't a loud, crashing sound that demands your attention with fear. It is a gentle, persistent rhythm that matches the beating of your own chest. I have been here for a long time, waiting in the hallway of your life while you busy yourself with 1,000 other things. You think the weight you feel is my silence, or perhaps my absence. But I want you to understand the truth today. This waiting is not a void. It is my invitation to you. I am inviting you to stop running. I am inviting you to look toward the door you have kept locked for so many seasons. You often feel like a shadow is following you, a lingering sense that something is missing even when your day is full. That isn't a shadow, my child. That is my presence. I am the constant in your life that never fluctuates. I do not come and go based on your performance or your mood. I am simply here, at the threshold, waiting for you to turn the handle. You must realize the cost of your hesitation. Every moment you spend wondering if you should let me in is a moment you spend carrying a weight you were never meant to bear. You feel the pressure of your job, the unspoken tensions that simmer in your family, and that heavy knot of anxiety in your stomach that tightens every time you think about next month's bills. You try to fix these things on your own, thinking that once you get your life in order, then you will finally have time for me. But I am telling you now, stop waiting for the perfect moment. Your hesitation is costing you the very peace you are trying so hard to manufacture. I offer you eternal grace, a river of favor that never runs dry, yet you stand on the bank shivering in the cold, afraid to take the plunge. Why do you hold back? I choose to stand and wait because I am a father, not a tyrant. I will never force my way into your life. I value your will too much to override it. I want a relationship with you, not a forced surrender. I want you to choose me because you realize that without me, the world is just too heavy. Pause for a second. Breathe in. Do you remember that initial spark? Think back to the very first time you felt a flicker of faith. Maybe you were a child, or maybe it was during a dark night just a few years ago when you whispered a desperate prayer into the ceiling. That spark was my hand reaching out to yours. I haven't forgotten that moment, even if you have. I have kept that tiny flame alive through every storm and every season of doubt you've walked through. You might feel like you've drifted too far, or like the real world has squeezed the spirit out of you, but I see the original calling I placed on your life. I see the version of you that is bold, at peace, and fully alive. That person is waiting just on the other side of your yes. I am asking you to recognize my knock right now. Don't dismiss this as a random thought or a passing emotion. This is a divine encounter. You are not reading these words by accident. I have orchestrated this moment because I am tired of seeing you struggle in the dark when I am standing right here with the light. You think you are hanging on by a thread, but I am the one you are leaving hanging. I am the creator of the stars, the one who holds the oceans in the palm of my hand, and yet, I am humble enough to wait for you. I see your fear of the future. I see how you feel overlooked by people who should have loved you better. I know the secrets you don't tell anyone. And I am telling you, I am still here. I am still waiting. I am still the same God who loved you before you were even born. Open the door. Let's undo that knot in your heart together. Step across the threshold and see what I can do with a life that finally stops making excuses. I promise you, my child, the view from inside my grace is better than anything you've seen from the hallway. I want you to take a deep breath and truly consider the nature of time. You live your life by the ticking of a clock, rushing from one obligation to the next, feeling the constant pressure of deadlines and the fading of years. You worry that you are running out of time to get it right, but I want you to look at me. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the one who stands outside of seconds and centuries. My timing transcends every earthly calendar you have ever marked. While you are panicking about being late or falling behind, I am operating in an eternal now. I have a patience that the world cannot understand. I have watched empires rise and fall into dust, yet my focus has never shifted away from you. My love is a persistent force that refuses to give up on the wanderer. You might feel like you've wandered too far into the thicket, or like you've been standing still for so long that I must have moved on to someone more productive. But I am telling you, my patience is the anchor that keeps you from drifting into total darkness. Think of the story I told long ago about the father and his wandering son. That son took everything and wasted it in a distant land, living a life that was a shadow of who he was meant to be. But do you remember what the father did? He didn't just sit in the house and wait for a formal apology. He stood at the edge of the property, squinting at the horizon every single day, waiting for the first sign of his child's return. That is how I am with you. I am standing at the edge of your horizon. I endure the hanging moments of your indecision not because I am indifferent, but because I am hopeful. Every time you start to turn toward me but then pull back out of fear or pride, I don't turn away in frustration. I stay right there. I am willing to wait through your maybe tomorrow and your I'm not ready yet. I see the depth of your struggle, and I know that the road back can feel long, but my arms are already open. You must learn to distinguish between my stillness and my absence. Just because you don't hear a thunderclap or see a burning bush doesn't mean I have left the room. Sometimes, I am most present in the quiet. I am in the steady beat of your heart while you sleep. I am in the breath you take when you finally sit down after a long, exhausting shift at work. I am the silence that holds you together when the world is screaming for your attention. Do not mistake my quietness for a lack of concern. I am the God of the 11th hour, the one who works in the margins of your life. I am weaving a masterpiece out of your delays. Even when you feel stuck, I am moving. Even when you are silent, I am speaking to your spirit. Wake up every morning and realize that my mercies are new. They aren't recycled from yesterday. They are fresh, tailor-made for the challenges you will face today. You don't have to carry the guilt of yesterday's indecision into this new light. I have already cleared the path. I am asking you to trust in the weight of my patience. It is a heavy, beautiful love that can withstand any amount of distance you try to put between us. Stop looking at the clock and start looking at my face. I am not going anywhere. I have waited a lifetime for you to realize that I am all you need. The door is still unlocked. The father is still at the edge of the field. I am still waiting for you to come home and find the rest that only I can provide. Trust my timing, for it is perfect, and know that my love will outlast every excuse you have ever made. I need to speak to you about the danger of tomorrow. You have a habit of pushing my call into the future, telling yourself that you will seek me when things are calmer, or when you finally settled that conflict at home, or when your bank account looks more secure. But I am the God of today. There is a spiritual gravity to the present moment that you cannot afford to ignore. When you say tomorrow to a today calling, you aren't just delaying a task, you are hardening a layer of your heart. Procrastination in the spirit is a slow-growing vine that eventually chokes out the fire of your purpose. I am calling you right now, in the middle of your mess, in the middle of your unfinished business. I don't need a polished version of you. I need the real you that exists this very second. Look around at the things that distract you. You spend hours scrolling through screens, looking at the lives of strangers, trying to numb the persistent ache in your soul. These are the broken cisterns that hold no water. The enemy of your soul uses delay as a precision tool to breed weariness. He knows that if he can keep you almost following me, he can keep you from ever experiencing the power of my presence. He wants you to stay in the waiting room of your own life, perpetually preparing but never arriving. I'm calling you to break those chains. Feel the urgency of my spirit prompting you. You feel that tug? That isn't anxiety. That is my hand pulling you toward freedom. I am urging you to prioritize the eternal over the temporary. The things that keep you busy today will be forgotten in a year, but the decision to step toward me will echo through your entire eternity. Choose to act now. I am giving you a command. Stop negotiating with your destiny. You have analyzed your situation enough. You have worried about the what-ifs until your head aches. Now I want you to move. Obedience doesn't require you to see the whole staircase. It only requires you to take the first step. When you offer me your yes today, I release a level of grace that you have never felt before. The heaviness you've been carrying, the pressure to perform, the fear of failing, it all begins to lift the moment you surrender your timeline to mine. Immediate obedience is the key that unlocks the prison door. You have been sitting in a cell with the door wide open, staring at the key in your hand. Use it. I promise you that the world will not fall apart if you put me first. In fact, that is when everything finally starts to make sense. When you seek my kingdom first, I take care of the rest. I handle the bills, I soften the hearts of your enemies, and I mend the tensions in your family. But you have to stop leaving me hanging on the line. I'm calling your name, and I want an answer. Don't let another sunset pass while you are still making up your mind. There is a freedom in wholehearted surrender that you will never find in half-hearted effort. Come to me now. Let go of the distractions. Let go of the layer. I am here, and the time is now. This is the moment your life changes. If only you will choose to walk through the door I have opened for you. You often find yourself in what feels like a desert. You look around and see nothing but dry sand and a horizon that never seems to change. You pray, and it feels like your words are hitting a brass ceiling. You feel alone, and in that loneliness, you start to believe a lie. You believe that I have abandoned you. You interpret the waiting room of your life as a sign of my displeasure or my absence. But I am speaking to your heart today to tell you that the desert is not a place of punishment. It is a place of preparation. I am working in the quiet spaces where you feel most invisible. When you feel like you are being buried, I am actually planting you. I am doing a deep work in your character that can only happen in the silence. I am refining you while you keep me waiting. Just as gold is purified in the fire, your faith is being strengthened in the moments of spiritual anticipation. If I gave you everything you asked for the second you asked for it, you would never develop the spiritual muscles you need to carry the weight of the blessing. I am teaching you how to trust my heart when you cannot see my hand. Look closely at your daily life. You see the subtle shifts. The way a friend called just when you were at your lowest. The way a certain verse of scripture seemed to jump off the page at you. The way you found the strength to hold your tongue when you wanted to lash out. That is my hand. I am moving the pieces behind the scenes, orchestrating a breakthrough that you can't even imagine yet. Trust that my plan is unfolding even when the path is obscured by the fog of your current circumstances. You see only the next few inches of the road, but I see the destination. I am the shepherd, and I know the way through the valley. Do not let the silence make you bitter. Let it make you hungry. Let it drive you deeper into my word and closer to my side. I am not a God who leaves his children to wander aimlessly. I am always within earshot. I am always watching. I am the pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night. Even when you don't feel the heat, the fire is still burning. I want you to change your perspective today. Instead of asking, "Where are you, God?" start asking, "What are you building in me right now?" I am building resilience. I am building a testimony that will one day help someone else find their way out of their own desert. You are not alone in the quiet. I am sitting there with you, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal the next step. Be still and know that I am God. Your waiting is not in vain. It is the womb of your future miracle. Keep your eyes on me, and do not let the enemy convince you that silence equals distance. I am closer than your next breath, and I am working all things together for your good. Just hold on. The morning is coming, and with it, the clarity you've been searching for. Do you ever wonder how I feel when I look at you? I am not a cold, distant force or a set of rules in an old book. I am a father with a heart that beats for you. When you distance yourself from me, I feel it. There is a unique sorrow in my heart when I see you seeking comfort in things that can never satisfy you. I see you turning to habits that leave you empty, to relationships that drain your spirit, and to broken cisterns that can't hold a single drop of true peace. It hurts me to see you settled for crumbs when I have prepared a feast for you. I yearn for fellowship with you, not because I need your worship, but because I love you and I know that your soul will never find rest until it rests in me. The hanging metaphor is real. When you leave me hanging, it creates a suspension in the relationship that was meant for fullness. Imagine a father reaching out his hand to his child, only for the child to look away and walk into the thorns. That is the ache I feel. Your distance doesn't just affect my heart, it affects your spiritual vitality. You become brittle. You become easily offended, easily tired, and easily lost. You were created to be connected to the source of life. When you unplug yourself, you begin to fade. I want to see you vibrant. I want to see you walking in the authority of a son or a daughter of the Most High. I want to see you filled with a joy that doesn't depend on your circumstances. Understand that I am a God of relationship, not religion. I don't want your rituals if they are empty. I don't want your Sunday morning attendance if your heart is 1,000 miles away. I want you. I want your messy thoughts, your honest questions, and your raw emotions. I want the version of you that sits in the car and cries when no one is looking. I want to meet you in that space and offer you a comfort that the world can't touch. There is a joy that awaits in heaven over one soul, just one, who finally stops running and turns back. Can you imagine the celebration when you finally let go of your pride and fall into my arms? I am making a plea to your soul today. Stop seeking life in the land of the dead. Stop trying to fill the hole in your heart with things that were never meant to fit there. I am the only one who knows the true shape of your soul, because I am the one who designed it. I see the beauty in you that you have long forgotten. I see the potential that is buried under layers of disappointment. I am calling you back to the center of my love. Do not leave me hanging any longer. The gap between us is only as wide as your willingness to pray a simple, honest prayer. Come back to the Father's house. Everything you have been looking for is already here, waiting for you. My arms have never closed, and they never will. Come and see how much I truly love you. My child, do not turn your heart away now, for we have only just begun to touch the wounds I am so desperate to heal. It would grieve my spirit to see you walk back into the cold world just as the warmth of my presence has finally started to thaw your soul. I have waited a lifetime for this conversation. Please, do not leave me hanging at the very moment I am reaching out to pull you closer. Your soul is at a precipice, and to stop now would be to choose the shadow over the substance of my love. Stay with me, for the depth of what I have yet to reveal is the very medicine your heart hath been crying out for. You carry a pride that you don't even recognize as pride. You call it independence or strength, but in reality, it is a wall you've built between your needs and my provision. You tell yourself that you could handle your life on your own. You think that if you just work a little harder, think a little faster, or control a few more variables, you can find the security you crave. But I am here to tell you that your self-sufficiency is an illusion. It is a fragile glass house in the middle of a hurricane. Why do you leave me hanging? Often, it's because you are addicted to the false sense of control you think you have. You want to be the captain of your own ship, but you are sailing in waters that were never meant for a human heart to navigate alone. Look at how exhausted you are. You are tired from the constant striving, from the I must do this and I must be that. Your strength is a drop of water compared to the ocean of my divine power. When you try to handle life's burdens on your own, you are like a child trying to move a mountain with a plastic shovel. I am the one who spoke the world into existence, and I am offering to carry the load for you. I want you to learn the art of surrender. Surrender isn't giving up. It is moving into a higher level of operation. It is letting go of the I so that you can receive the He. It is saying, God, I can't do this, but I know you can. The wilderness of life is too big for you to navigate by your own internal compass. You will get lost in the thickets of your own anxiety and the valleys of your own depression if you do not let me lead. There is a profound beauty in total dependence upon my grace. It is the secret to the peace you see in others and wonder how they find it. It isn't that they don't have problems, it's that they know who holds their life in His hands. I want that for you. I want you to wake up and feel the relief of knowing that you don't have to have all the answers. You only have to know the one who does. I am inviting you today to lay down your I can do it attitude. It hasn't brought you the peace you wanted, has it? It has only brought you more stress and more isolation. I am your Father, and I want to provide for you. I want to protect you. I want to guide you into green pastures. But I cannot lead someone who refuses to be led. I cannot fill a hand that is already clenched tight round its own small plans. Open your hands. Let go of the illusion of control. Admit that you need me. In that moment of humility, you will find a strength that makes your own look like a shadow. I am waiting to show you what life looks like when the Creator is the one in charge. Step out of the driver's seat and let me take you where you were always meant to go. I want you to close your eyes for a moment and travel back in time. I want you to remember the very first time you felt the warmth of my presence. Do you remember the day? Maybe it was in a small, quiet room, or perhaps it was during a time of great music and celebration. Do you remember how vibrant the world looked back then? Your heart was wide open, your faith was simple, and your love for me was an unquenchable fire. Back then, you didn't need complicated theology or perfect circumstances to trust me. You simply knew that I was real, and that I love you. You spoke to me throughout your day as if I were your closest friend. But somewhere along the road, the clutter of life began to stack up. You let the bills, the heartbreaks, and the mundane routines of adulthood pile up against the door of your heart. Slowly, the fire began to dim, not because I left you, but because you stopped feeding the flame. I am calling you back to that altar today. I am inviting you to clear away the debris and find that original calling I placed within you. Look at your life right now and identify the noise that has replaced my voice. You have become so sophisticated in your worries that you have forgotten the simplicity of a childlike faith. You analyze my word instead of eating it. You debate my will instead of doing it. I am asking you to strip away the layers of religious habit and social expectation. I am not looking for a polished professional. I am looking for that same person who once wept with joy just knowing they were forgiven. I am still the same God you met at the beginning. I haven't changed. I haven't aged, and my love for you hasn't lost its intensity. If you feel like there is a distance between us, I need you to understand that I never moved. You are the one who drifted, caught in the current of a busy, distracted world. But the path back is shorter than you think. It starts with a single memory and a single decision to return to your first love. Reignite the fire that has dimmed through neglect. You might think it's too late, or that the embers have gone cold, but I am the God who breathes life into dry bones. One breath from my spirit can turn a smoldering wick into a blazing furnace once again. Stop settling for a life of fine and okay. You were meant for a life of passion and purpose. You were meant to walk in a connection so vibrant that it changes the atmosphere of every room you enter. I am calling you to remove the clutter of bitterness, the clutter of past failures, and the clutter of worldly ambition. Find the original spark. Go back to the place where we first met. I am still there, waiting with the same smile and the same open arms. I want to restore the joy of your salvation. I want to give you back the wonder you've lost. Come back to me with a heart that is ready to be surprised again. Let's start over, right here and right now. I need to warn you about a very dangerous place, the land of good enough. You have fallen into a routine that looks like faith from the outside but feels like a desert on the inside. You go through the motions. You attend your services. You say your grace before meals, and you toss a quick prayer toward the ceiling when things get tough. You think this religious routine is what I want from you, but I am telling you plainly, I don't want your routine. I want your heart. I didn't sacrifice my son so that you could have a decent moral life or a nice Sunday tradition. I did it so that you could have an abundant, overflowing, earth-shaking relationship with the Creator of the universe. You are settling for a lukewarm existence because you are afraid of the fire. You are staying in the shallow water because you are afraid of the depth. But you were not made for the shore, you were made for the deep. Reject the status quo that says this is just how life is. You were not born to merely survive until you die. You were born to be a light in a dark world, a vessel of my power, and a witness to my grace. The enemy loves it when you are good enough. He loves a lukewarm believer because a lukewarm believer poses no threat to his kingdom. When you are stagnant, you are not moving forward, and if you aren't moving forward, you are slowly drifting backward. I am calling you to push past the surface level. Do you hear my spirit calling you to go deeper into the water? There are treasures in my presence that you will never find if you stay in the ankle-deep water of religious habit. There is a peace that passes understanding, a joy that is unspeakable, and a power that can move mountains. But these things require you to leave the safety of the shore. Stop being satisfied with a life that doesn't require faith. If you can handle everything in your life by yourself, then you aren't walking with me. You are just walking. I want to lead you into situations that require my intervention. I want to give you dreams that are so big they scare you. I want to use you to heal the broken and set the captives free. But I can't do that if you are clutching your religious routine like a security blanket. Let go of it. Trade your good enough for my exceedingly abundantly. Trade your boring religion for a living, breathing relationship. I am calling you to an extraordinary life in Christ. It won't always be comfortable, and it won't always be easy, but I promise you it will be real. It will be worth it. Stop leaving me hanging in the foyer of your life and invite me into the inner rooms. Let's see what happens when you stop playing it safe and start living by faith. I see the hesitation in your eyes when I talk about surrender. You hear the word surrender and you think of loss. You think of giving up your freedom, your desires, and your control. You listen to the lie that my will is a heavy burden designed to keep you from being happy. But I want you to look at my heart. My commands are not walls of restriction meant to cage you in. They are hedges of protection meant to keep you safe from the wolves. My will is not a cross you have to carry in misery. It is the very place where you will find your greatest joy. You are afraid that if you give me everything, I will take away the things you love. But I am the one who gave you those things in the first place. I don't want to diminish your life. I want to expand it. I want to take your small, flickering candle and turn it into a sun. Let go of the rope. You are hanging onto the ledge of your life with all your strength, terrified that if you let go, you will fall into a void. But I am standing right beneath you with my capable hands wide open. You aren't falling into a void. You are falling into grace. The peace that passes all understanding is not found in the struggle to hold on. It is found in the decision to let go. When you say yes to me without any conditions, the atmosphere of your life shifts instantly. The knot in your stomach begins to unravel because you realize that the weight of the world is no longer on your shoulders. It's on mine, and I am more than strong enough to carry it. Trust me when I say that I know your needs better than you know them yourself. I know the desires you haven't even put into words yet, and I am already working to fulfill them in ways that will leave you breathless. Stop negotiating with me as if I were a salesman trying to take your money. I am your father, and I am trying to give you an inheritance. Every no I ask of you is a yes to something much better. Every time I ask you to walk away from a habit or a relationship that is toxic, it is because I have something life-giving waiting for you around the corner. Do not be afraid of my yes. Do not be afraid of what people will think or how your life will change. Change is the evidence of life. If you aren't changing, you aren't growing. I am calling you to a full, 100% surrender. No more holding back a little piece for yourself just in case. Give it all to me. Give me your past, your future, your dreams and your fears. I promise you, I can do more with your life than you ever could. Trust the process. Trust my love. Fall into my hands and watch how I turn your surrender into a victory. I want you to think about all the things you've been praying for. You've asked for breakthroughs in your family, favor in your career, and healing in your body. And you wonder why the answers haven't come yet. You think I am the one holding back. But I want to show you a different perspective today. Many of the blessings you are waiting for are actually waiting for you. They are deferred because of your lack of movement. You are waiting for a sign, but I am waiting for your yes. There is a divine interconnectedness between your obedience and my provision. My favor is like a river, but your indecision is like a dam. When you refuse to take the step I've asked you to take, you block the flow of what I want to pour into your life. Your yes is the key that unlocks the next season of my favor. Reflect on the what-ifs for a moment. What if you had started that project when I first prompted you a year ago? What if you had made that apology when I first stirred your heart? Think of the spiritual momentum you could have had by now. But do not let this thought bring you to despair. Let it bring you to action. The past is gone, but the right now is still yours. You can generate spiritual momentum today by taking just one step. It doesn't have to be a giant leap. It just has to be a step of faith. When you move, I move. When you start walking toward the Red Sea of your problems, that is when the waters begin to part. I have already prepared the way, and I have already provided the resources. But you will never see them if you stay sitting on the couch of procrastination. I am calling you to realize that my miracles often require your participation. I could do it all by myself, but I choose to work through you because I want you to share in the joy of the harvest. Every act of obedience, no matter how small, sends a ripple through the spiritual realm. It breaks the atmosphere of delay and invites the presence of the Holy Spirit to move in power. You have been leaving me hanging on the promises I gave you, but today is the day that ends. I am asking you to stand up and walk. Do not wait for the fear to go away. Do it afraid. Do not wait for the money to be in the bank. Do it in faith. I am the God who provides, but my provision often meets you on the road, not in the waiting room. Take the step. Unlock the blessing. I am with you, and I am ready to show you what happens when a child of God finally stops waiting and starts walking. I implore you, stay in this moment with me, for my heart aches at the thought of you missing the breakthrough that is mere steps away. To silence my voice now is to leave your miracles in the waiting room of your life, deferred once again by the same hesitation that has kept you bound. It would break a father's heart to see his child walk away from a banquet I have spent an eternity preparing just for them. Do not let the noise of the world reclaim you before I have finished speaking life into your destiny. Listen closely, for the next words I speak are the keys to the chains you thought would never break. As you step out of the shadows of delay and into the momentum of your yes, I am opening a portal for you to plant a seed that mirrors your new commitment. You have seen how miracles are often held back by a lack of movement, but today, you can break that cycle by fueling the very light that guided you back to my side. I am inviting you to join me in this mission of rescue, for there are thousands still hanging by a thread in the darkness, waiting for the word you are hearing right now to reach them. When you sow through the PayPal link or a super thanks today, you are not merely giving. You are releasing the manna that will sustain a starving soul. I promise you that as you honor me with your substance, I will open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing so great that you will not have room to contain it. Do not leave the next soul hanging while you have the power to be their bridge to my grace. I command you to act on this divine appointment now and watch how I multiply your harvest in this very hour. You live in a world that is addicted to noise. From the second you wake up until the moment you close your eyes, you are bombarded by voices. The television, the social media feeds, the opinions of your coworkers, and the constant internal chatter of your own anxieties. It's like a roar that never stops. And in the middle of that roar, you wonder why you can't hear me. You look for me in the big, dramatic signs, but I am usually in the whisper. I am the still, small voice that speaks to your spirit in the quiet of the night. But if your life is always loud, you will miss what I am saying. You must learn the necessity of stillness. You must realize that doing is not the same as being. You spend so much time working for me that you have forgotten how to just be with me. Cultivate an ear for the shepherd's call. My voice is distinct. It doesn't sound like the world. The world speaks in tones of condemnation, urgency, and fear. I speak in tones of conviction, peace, and love. If the voice you are hearing makes you feel hopeless, it isn't me. If it makes you feel like you have to perform to be loved, it isn't me. My voice brings clarity, not confusion. But to hear it, you have to tune your heart to my frequency. This means you have to be intentional about silencing the digital and social noise. You have to be willing to put down the phone and pick up the word. You have to be willing to sit in a room by yourself and just listen. I am not playing hide and seek with you. I want to be heard. I have instructions for your life that will save you years of heartache, but I can't give them to you while you are distracted by things that don't matter. Stop running and start listening. The clarity you've been searching for is not found in more information. It is found in more intimacy. When you get quiet, you will start to notice my hand in the subtle shifts of your day. You will start to understand the why behind the what. You will find that you no longer have to scream for attention because you have the attention of the King. I am inviting you to create a sanctuary in your heart. Let it be a place where the world cannot enter. In that space, I will speak to you about your future. I will heal the wounds of your past. I will tell you who you really are. But you have to make the choice to be still. I am waiting in the silence. I am waiting for you to turn down the volume of the world so you can hear the song I am singing over you. Listen. I am speaking. Can you hear me now? I want you to look at the space between where you are and where you know you should be. You often look at that gap with a sense of dread, thinking it is a canyon of judgment that you have to cross on your own. You feel the weight of every month you spent hesitating, every year you spent running, and you think that I am on the other side counting your failures. But I am speaking to you today to tell you that the gap is not filled with judgment. It is filled with my grace. I am not a God who stands with arms crossed, tapping my foot and waiting for you to catch up. I am the God who stepped into that gap through my Son. My kindness toward you is not a reward for your speed. It is a gift for your soul. Even while you hesitate, even while you are leaving me hanging, my love for you does not diminish. I do not love a future, perfect version of you more than I love the struggling, undecided version of you that I see right now. Consider the bridge of Christ that covers the distance you have created. You think you have to build a way back to me through better behavior or more religious effort, but the bridge is already built. It was built with nails and wood and a love that refused to stay in heaven while you were lost on earth. I am not asking you to build the bridge. I am just asking you to walk across it. My love is not conditional upon your response time. I am not like the people in your life who withdraw their affection when you don't meet their expectations. I am constant. I am steady. I am the light that stays on in the window no matter how late you stay out. I see the wounds that keep you from coming closer, the times you were let down by people who claimed to represent me, the times life broke your heart and you blamed my silence. I want to heal those wounds, but I need you to bring them to the light. I am inviting you to come just as you are without a single second of further delay. You don't need to fix yourself before you come to me. The coming to me is what fixes you. You don't need to have all your questions answered or your doubts erased. Bring your doubts. Bring your mess. Bring the knot in your stomach and the questions in your mind. I am big enough to handle all of it. The healing power of a single moment in my presence is greater than a lifetime of struggle. When you stop trying to bridge the gap with your own effort and simply fall into my grace, you will find that the distance you feared was an illusion. I have been right here all along, holding the bridge steady for you. Stop looking at how far you have to go and start looking at how far I have already come to get to you. Step into the gap and find the grace that has been waiting for you since before the world began. I need to remind you of something you have dangerously forgotten. You are my child. You are not a stranger. You are not an employee, and you are not a mistake. You are a son or a daughter of the Most High King. I want you to listen to my voice above the labels the world has tried to stick on you. The world calls you failed, overlooked, anxious, or not enough. But I call you redeemed, chosen, and precious. You are having an identity crisis because you have been looking in the mirrors of the world to see who you are. But those mirrors are cracked and distorted. They only show you your flaws and your past. I want you to look into my eyes. I am waiting for you to realize who you truly are, because until you know your identity, you will never walk in your authority. You carry a divine authority when you stand in alignment with my will, but you have been living like a beggar when you are actually an heir. You worry about things that I have already placed under your feet. You are afraid of shadows when you carry the light of the world inside of you. Why do you leave me hanging? Often, it is because you don't believe you are worthy of the inheritance I have provided. You think my blessings are for special people, but I am telling you that you are special because you are mine. I meticulously wove every fiber of your being together. I chose your personality. I ordained your days. And I put a specific song in your soul that only you can sing. When you walk away from me, you aren't just leaving a religion. You are leaving yourself behind. I am calling you to a total transformation, from a seeker to a son, from a wanderer to a daughter. I want you to start walking in the inheritance I have already provided. This means you stop asking for permission to be happy and start living in the joy I've given you. It means you stop letting the opinions of people who don't know me define your worth. I am your Father, and I am the only one who has the right to tell you who you are. I am waiting for you to step into the role I designed for you. There is a specific work for you to do, a specific group of people for you to reach, and a specific purpose that only you can fulfill. But you can't do it while you're hiding in the shadows of a false identity. Stand up. Straighten your shoulders. Remember whose you are. I am with you, I am for you, and I am in you. Claim your identity today and watch how the world begins to change around you. I want to talk to you about the most tragic word in the human language, almost. There is a specific kind of pain in my heart when I see a soul that is so close to the kingdom, yet chooses to remain on the outside. You have heard the truth. You have felt the tug of my spirit, and you have even agreed with my words, yet you haven't crossed the line. You are standing at the very edge of a breakthrough, but you are letting almost be your final answer. This is the same trap that caught the rich young ruler I met so long ago. He wanted eternal life. He followed the rules and he was standing right in front of me. But when I asked him to give up the one thing he loved more than me, he walked away. He was almost a disciple. He was almost a part of the greatest movement in history. But almost is not enough to change a life. Why is almost so dangerous? Because it gives you a false sense of security. You feel like you are on the right track because you are close to me, but being close to the fire is not the same as being in the fire. Agreeing with me is not the same as following me. The enemy loves to use almost to keep you bound because it keeps you comfortable in your indecision. He doesn't need you to hate me. He just needs you to stay undecided. He knows that as long as you are almost ready to surrender, you are still under his influence. I am calling you to make a firm decision today. I am asking you to cross the line of faith. Do not be like the ones who stood at the edge of the promised land but were too afraid to enter because of the giants they saw. The giants are real, but I am bigger. The finality of a heart that chooses to remain undecided is a tragedy I don't want for you. Every time you say almost, the call becomes a little harder to hear. The tug on your heart becomes a little more faint. I am urging you to act while the Spirit is moving. Do not let this moment pass and become just another almost in the story of your life. Make this the day you can point to and say, that was the day I stopped lingering and started living. I am offering you the fullness of the kingdom, not just a glimpse of it. I am offering you a relationship that is active and alive, not a distant agreement with a set of facts. Leave almost behind. Step across the line. Give me your yes with everything you have, and let's leave the land of indecision forever. I am waiting on the other side of that line, ready to catch you. I know you are frustrated. I see you looking at your watch and your calendar, wondering why the things I promised haven't manifested yet. You feel like the clock is running out on your dreams, and you're starting to worry that I've forgotten the schedule. But I need you to let go of your expectations of how and when I should move. My wisdom is not restricted by your deadlines. I am never early, and I am never late. I am always exactly on time. I use the waiting seasons not to withhold things from you, but to prepare you for what I am about to give you. If I gave you the harvest before you were strong enough to carry it, the weight of the blessing would crush you. I am building the character in you today that will sustain the miracle tomorrow. Trust my schedule for your life's purpose. You see your life as a series of disconnected events, but I see it as a masterpiece. I am weaving together the disappointments, the delays, and the no's into a story that will eventually make perfect sense. When you look back from the perspective of eternity, you will see that every delay was a protection, and every wait was a preparation. I am not just trying to give you a good life. I am trying to build an eternal legacy through you. This requires a timing that is far more complex than anything you can imagine. I am coordinating the lives of thousands of people, the opening of doors you didn't even know existed, and the softening of hearts that are currently hard. Find rest in the knowledge that I am in control. You don't have to stress about the how or the when. Your job is to stay in alignment with me. My job is to handle the logistics. When you stop trying to force my hand and start trusting my heart, the pressure of life begins to lift. You can breathe again. You can sleep again. I am using this very moment, this moment where you feel like you are hanging in limbo, to teach you how to depend on me. This is where your testimony is being birthed. People won't be inspired by how you handled the victory. They will be inspired by how you trusted me in the waiting. Hold on a little longer. The clock I am watching is perfectly synchronized with your greatest good. I am doing something beautiful, and when the time is right, I will act. Trust me. I haven't missed a deadline yet. Do not pull your hand from mine now, my beloved, for the bridge between us is finally steady under your feet. It would be a tragedy beyond words for you to come this far, to stand so close to the light, and then retreat back into the comfort of your own striving. I am pouring my heart into yours, and to stop listening now would be to reject the very identity I am trying to restore within you. I am your God, and I am pleading for your attention because I know the storms that await you if you try to face the horizon alone. Stay with me. Let us finish what we have started, for your eternity is echoing in the balance of this very hour. I want you to realize that your life is not just about you. When you leave me hanging, you aren't just affecting your own soul. You are affecting the people I have placed in your circle of influence. You are a light, and when that light is dimmed by indecision or distance, the world around you gets a little darker. I am calling you to return to me not just for your own sake, but because your return can spark a revival in those around you. There are people in your family, your workplace, and your neighborhood who are watching you. They might not say it, but they are looking to see if your faith is real. When you make the decision to stop the delay and walk in full alignment with my will, it creates a ripple effect that you cannot even measure. One soul returning to the Father can change the trajectory of an entire generation. I need you on the line because I want to use you to reach others. I have chosen to work through my children to manifest my kingdom on earth. When you are disconnected from me, you are like a lamp that isn't plugged in. You have the potential to shine, but there is no power. I am calling you to plug back in. I want to fill you with my spirit so that you overflow into the lives of the broken, the hurting, and the lost. You were meant to be an intercessor, someone who stands in the gap for those who are still hanging on by a thread. There are people in your life who are drowning in despair, and I want to use your hand to pull them out. But I can't use a hand that is busy clutching its own excuses. Think of the communal joy that awaits when a body of believers is in total alignment. Imagine a world where you aren't just surviving, but you are actively advancing my kingdom. This is the abundant life I promised. It is a life of significance and impact. When you say yes to me today, you are saying yes to a purpose that is bigger than your own comfort. You are becoming a beacon of hope in a darkened world. I am waiting for you to take your place on the wall. I am waiting for you to recognize the responsibility that comes with my love. You are a carrier of the divine, and it is time to start acting like it. Stop the delay. Your return is the key to someone else's breakthrough. Let's start the revival right here, in your own heart, and watch it spread to the ends of the earth. I want to talk to you about the times you felt I let you down. I am not offended by your honesty. In fact, I welcome it. I know there are moments in your past where you prayed with everything you had, where you fasted and pleaded for a specific outcome, and yet, the answer seemed to be a resounding silence or a painful no. You felt a rift form between us. You felt like you were hanging in a void of unanswered questions. You looked at the tragedies in your life, the losses that broke your spirit, and you wondered if I was really as good as the songs say I am. I want you to know that I saw every tear you shed in those dark rooms. I heard every scream of why that you hurled at the ceiling. I was not distant then, and I am not distant now. I was right there in the trial with you, weeping alongside you, even when you couldn't feel my warmth. You must understand the truth about trials. They are not signs of my absence, but the very places where my presence is most active. You see the no as a rejection, but I want you to start seeing it as a form of my protection. You see the wait as a delay, but I see it as a preparation for a greater weight of glory. I am the architect of your soul, and I know which structures need to be torn down so that a stronger foundation can be built. Healing the rift between us starts with you being honest about your bitterness. Bring it to me. Don't hide it behind religious platitudes. Tell me you're angry. Tell me you're confused. When you bring your disappointment into the light of my love, it loses its power to keep us apart. I want to redefine your view of my character not through your changing circumstances, but through my unchanging word. I am moving you past the bitterness today. I want you to see my loving kindness in the things I saved you from that you didn't even know were dangerous. I want you to see the grace I gave you to survive the very thing you thought would kill you. You are still here. You are still standing. It is not a coincidence. It is a testament to my sustaining power. I am a God who uses even the broken pieces of your disappointment to create a mosaic of redemption. Stop leaving me hanging because you are afraid I will hurt you again. I am the healer of the brokenhearted. I am the restorer of lost years. Come back into my presence and let me show you the bigger picture. Trust me again, not because life is easy, but because I am faithful. I am ready to turn your mourning into dancing, if only you will let me back into the places that hurt the most. I want you to feel the spiritual significance of this exact second. There's a weight to the right now that the enemy wants you to ignore by keeping you focused on back then or one day. But I am the I am. I exist in the present, and that is where my power is most available to you. Why is my spirit moving in your heart at this exact second? It's because I have orchestrated this moment for your breakthrough. You have spent enough time in the waiting room of eventually. I am calling you to step into the thrill of an active, living faith today. The atmosphere of your life shifts the moment you say amen to my promises. An amen isn't just a way to end a prayer. It is a declaration of agreement that unlocks the heavens. When you agree with me right now, you align your reality with my truth. You have immediate access to my throne of grace. You don't have to earn it, and you don't have to wait in line. The veil was torn so that you could walk into my presence at any moment, especially the moments when you feel most unworthy. I am breaking the spirit of someday over your life. Someday is the graveyard of many great destinies. I am not the God of someday. I am the God of today is the day of salvation. I am asking you to make a move while the water is stirring. Do you feel that heat in your chest? That is my fire ready to consume your excuses. I want you to experience the immediate peace that comes from a total surrender of the present moment. You can't fix yesterday and you can't control tomorrow, but you can give me your right now. I am inviting you to embrace the right now with a sense of urgency. Every decision you make in this moment ripples through your eternity. When you choose to trust me right now, despite your fear, you are creating a legacy of faith. When you choose to forgive right now, despite your pain, you are releasing a miracle. I am moving in the ordinary details of your current hour. I am in the conversation you're about to have. I am in the task you're about to start. Stop leaving me hanging by waiting for a better time to be spiritual. This is the time. This is the place. I am here, and I am ready to do something new. Say yes to me in this moment, and watch how the right now becomes the beginning of the best season of your life. I want you to look at the world around you and see how quickly everything changes. Opinions shift, economies fluctuate, and people come and go. If you anchor your soul in the world, you will always feel like you are hanging by a thread over an abyss of uncertainty. This is why I have given you my word. It is not just a book of stories, it is a roadmap back to my side. It is a lamp to your feet and a light to your path. When the storm is screaming and the waves are crashing against your life, my word is the anchor that keeps you from being swept away. I want you to stop treating my promises like suggestions and start treating them like the life support they are. If I said it, it is finished. If I promised it, it is coming to pass. I am calling you to combat the lies of the enemy with the truth of the Bible. The enemy whispers that you are alone, but my word says I will never leave you. The enemy whispers that you are a failure, but my word says you are more than a conqueror. You must learn to hide my word in your heart so that when the darkness comes, you have an internal light that cannot be put out. I want you to spend time in my pages until my thoughts become your thoughts. This is how you find your way back when you've been wandering. This is how you silence the noise of the world. My promises are unchanging across generations. What I did for David, what I did for Paul, I am ready to do for you. But you have to pick up the word. You have to eat it until it becomes part of your very DNA. I am giving you a command today. Anchor yourself. Stop drifting based on how you feel each morning. Your feelings are liars. My word is the truth. When you are anchored in the word, you don't have to panic when the wind blows. You can sit in the middle of the chaos and have a peace that makes no sense to the world. I want you to realize that the strength you've been looking for is already written down for you. It is waiting for you to claim it. Stop leaving me hanging by ignoring the instructions I've already sent. Open the book. Read my heart. Let the ancient words create a new reality in your mind. I am the Word made flesh, and I am speaking life into you right now. Stand on the rock of my truth, and you will never be moved. I want you to notice the internal tug that you haven't been able to explain lately. You felt it in the quiet moments, or even in the middle of a busy day, a sudden sense that there is something more, a soft whisper calling you to turn around. That is the Holy Spirit, the Comforter I sent to guide you back home. He is not here to yell at you or to shame you. He is here with a gentle persuasion. He is the one who groans on your behalf when you are too tired to even find the words to pray. He is the quiet influence that keeps you from making that mistake, or the sudden urge to reach out to someone in need. I want you to stop resisting that pull. You've been fighting it because you're afraid of where it might lead, but I promise you, the Spirit only leads to life. I want you to learn the difference between my conviction and the world's condemnation. Condemnation is a heavy, dark weight that makes you want to hide from me. It tells you that you are a bad person and that I am finished with you. There is a life from the pit of hell. Conviction, on the other hand, is the Holy Spirit pointing out a wound so that I can heal it. It is a gentle nudge that tells you, this path is hurting you, come back to the Father. Conviction leads to freedom, condemnation leads to prison. I want you to yield to the soft influence of my indwelling presence. You don't have to figure everything out on your own. I have given you a helper who knows the mind of God and the needs of your heart perfectly. I am inviting you to learn to dance to the rhythm of the Spirit. It is a life of flow, not a life of force. When you are in step with the Holy Spirit, you find that doors open naturally and peace follows you like a shadow. You stop leaving me hanging because you are constantly in conversation with the Comforter. I want you to practice listening to those small prompts today. If He tells you to be still, be still. If He tells you to speak, speak. As you yield to Him, you will find that the heaviness of your self-effort begins to melt away. You are not alone in your struggle to be good. The Spirit is within you, empowering you to do what you could never do on your own. Trust the tug. Follow the whisper. Let the Spirit lead you into the fullness of everything I have for you. My child, I beg of you, do not stifle the Holy Spirit's gentle persuasion just as He is about to lead you into your greatest victory. It would deeply disappoint the heart of your Creator to see you settle for almost when the fullness of my kingdom is within your reach. We are at the threshold of your transformation, and to turn back now would be to choose a life of survival over the life of power I have ordained for you. Do not leave me hanging in these final moments of our encounter. Every word that remains is a shield for your future and a balm for your past. If you leave now, you leave unprotected. Finish this journey with me. Your Father is still speaking, and I will not let you go. Do you feel the gentle tug of my Spirit prompting you to move beyond words and into a partnership that echoes through eternity? We have talked about the rhythm of the Spirit, and right now, that rhythm is calling you to become a pillar of this sanctuary by joining as a member or offering a gift of support. It would grieve my heart to see this message of reconciliation stop with you, when I have ordained you to be a conduit of my living water to a parched and dying world. Every seed you plant is oil for the lamps of those who are lost, ensuring that the fire of my word never stops burning for the broken-hearted. I declare over you that the hand that sows in obedience shall never know the sting of lack, for I am the God who provides and protects the inheritance of my faithful partners. You are not just a listener, you are a co-laborer in my kingdom, chosen to ensure that no child of mine is ever left hanging in despair. Follow the prompt of my Spirit and click the link in the description or use super thanks to seal your devotion right now. I want you to look at your past one last time, and then I want you to leave it behind. You have been carrying your mistakes like a backpack full of stones, and it is the reason you are so tired. You think your unworthiness is a reason to stay away from me, but I want you to know that I have already dealt with your past. Through the blood of the Lamb, I have performed a total erasure of your sins. When I look at you, I don't see the person who failed last year or the person who made those choices in your youth. I see my child, washed clean and ready for a future. I don't see your past when I look at your future. Why do you insist on looking back at a grave that I have already emptied? I am the God of the fresh start, and I am offering one to you right now. I am giving you a command: shake off the dust. When you walk away from a season of failure, don't bring the dirt with you. Stop letting yesterday's disappointment stop today's fellowship. You are not defined by what you did. You are defined by what I did for you. The enemy wants you to live in a perpetual state of almost forgiven, but I am telling you that you are fully redeemed. Refuse to let the whispers of your old life tell you that you don't belong in my presence. You belong here because I invited you. You belong here because I paid the price for your seat at my table. I want you to walk in the newness of life that I have ordained for you. This is not a patched-up version of your old life. It is a brand new creation. I am waiting for you to realize that my grace is bigger than your biggest mistake. You cannot out-sin my love, and you cannot exhaust my mercy. It is new every morning, including this one. Stop leaving me hanging because you feel like you need to clean yourself up first. The dust only comes off when you start walking with me. I want to see you stand up, shake off the shame, and look forward. I have great things planned for you, but you can't reach for them if your hands are still clutching the wreckage of your past. Let it go. It is finished. The debt is paid. The slate is clean. Step into the light of this new day and see what I can build from the ashes of your yesterday. Your future is bright because I am in it, and the past has no power over the person I am making you to be. I want you to imagine what it feels like to finally stop the tug of war. For so long, you have lived your life in segments, giving me your Sunday mornings or your moments of crisis, but holding back the rest of your week, your secrets, and your daily decisions. You have been living on a spiritual battery that is constantly running low because you only plug in when you are desperate. But I am calling you into a life of the continuous flow. Imagine a life where there is no wall between your normal life and my presence. This is the intimacy of an unbroken connection. It is not about spending hours on your knees in a dark room. It is about walking through the grocery store, the office, and your home with a conscious awareness that I am right there beside you. When you stop hanging back and let me into every conversation and every thought, the colors of your life will begin to change. The world will seem brighter, not because your problems have vanished, but because you are finally viewing them through the lens of my infinite power. Feel the peace that settles in a heart that has truly found its home. Most people spend their entire lives searching for a sense of belonging, a place where they don't have to perform or wear a mask. My child, that place is in me. When you maintain an unbroken connection with my spirit, you no longer have to strive for the approval of others. You are grounded. You are anchored. You are plugged into the source of all life, and that connection provides a strength that the world cannot take away. This is the abundant life I promised you. It isn't a life without trouble, but it is a life where the trouble no longer has the power to crush you. You become like a tree planted by rivers of water, whose leaf does not wither even in the heat of a drought. While others are panicking, you are drawing from a deep, hidden well of grace. I am inviting you to practice my presence in the mundane details of your day. Talk to me while you drive. Ask for my wisdom before you send that email. Lean on me when you feel that flash of irritation or that wave of loneliness. I am not a distant king on a far-off throne. I am a father who wants to be involved in the small things because I love you. When you keep the connection open, you will find that you hear my voice more clearly. You will notice the doors I am opening for you before you even reach them. You will find a rhythm of rest even in the middle of a busy schedule. Stop leaving me hanging in the hallway of your life. Invite me into the kitchen, the bedroom, and the workplace. Let's live this life together, hand in hand, in a connection that never has to be broken again. This is where your true power lies. I want you to lift your eyes from the dirt of your current struggles and look toward the horizon. You get so caught up in the right now of your bills, your health, and your relationships that you forget where this journey is actually heading. We are moving toward a feast. Throughout my word, I have described the end of this age as a marriage supper, a final, eternal reunion where every tear is wiped away and every broken thing is made new. I am waiting for my bride to be ready. You are part of that bride, and I am calling you to live with an eternal perspective. Every choice you make today, every time you choose trust over fear and obedience over delay, you are preparing yourself for that day. You are putting oil in your lamp while the world sleeps in the dark. Why do I emphasize the wait so much? Because the wait is a test of your desire. I want a bride whose heart is truly set on me, not just on the blessings I provide. Living with an eye toward the kingdom to come doesn't mean you ignore your life on earth. It means you prioritize the things that have eternal weight. It means you value kindness over being right and soul growth over worldly gain. I am asking you to check your heart today. Is your lamp full? Or have you let the oil of your devotion run dry while you were distracted by the world's entertainment? I am coming back for a people who are alert, who are watching, and who are longing for my appearance. I want you to be among them, standing at the door with a heart that beats with anticipation. The decisions you make in this season impact your eternal standing. This isn't a threat. It is a reality of the spiritual harvest. If you sow into the Spirit now, you will reap life everlasting. If you continue to leave me hanging and prioritize the temporary over the eternal, you will find yourself empty-handed at the finish line. I want you to experience the thrill of knowing that your life has a destination. You are not just wandering, you are traveling home. Let the thought of the marriage supper give you the strength to endure the trials of today. The feast is being prepared. The invitations have been sent. I am waiting for you to get ready, to wash your robes in my grace, and to live with the joy of someone who knows the King is coming. Keep your eyes on the prize. The best is yet to come, and the reunion will be more beautiful than any dream you've ever had. I want to look you directly in the eyes of your soul and speak as plainly as I ever have. We have walked through your struggles, your fears, and your delays. I have shown you my heart, my patience, and my promises. Now I am making a final plea to you. I am your Father, and I love you with a depth that your human mind cannot fully grasp. I have offered you everything, my Son, my Spirit, my peace, and my future. There is nothing left for me to give that I haven't already placed at your feet. I have removed every barrier, torn every veil, and taken every debt. The only thing left in this equation is your will. I am inviting you to reason together with me. Look at the life you've been living without me. Has it satisfied you? Has the distance brought you the freedom you thought it would? I am asking you to remove the final excuses. I know you're tired. I know you've been hurt, and I know you feel unworthy. But none of those things matter to me. My grace is bigger than your exhaustion. My love is stronger than your pain, and my blood is more powerful than your unworthiness. I am a God of relationship, and I am standing here with open arms that have never closed to you. I am not asking for a perfect person. I am asking for a willing person. I am asking for you to stop the lingering and start the living. Why would you choose to stay in the cold when the fire is roaring in the hearth? Why would you choose the crumbs when the table is set? This is the vulnerability of a God who could command you, but instead chooses to invite you. The choice is simple, my child. Life or lingering. You can continue to leave me hanging, staying in that middle ground where you're too spiritual to enjoy the world, but too worldly to enjoy me. Or you can step into the fullness of my light. I am pleading with you to choose life. I am pleading with you to stop running from the only one who truly knows you and truly loves you. This is not about a religion. It is about us. It is about a father and his child being reconciled. I have been waiting for this moment since before you drew your first breath. Do not turn away. Do not say tomorrow. Let this be the moment where the hang ends and the home begins. I'm right here. Reach out. Let's finish this journey together. This is the moment of transition. We are moving from the waiting to the walking. You have heard my voice. You have felt my spirit. And now you are making the decision to stop the delay. I want you to feel the weight of this commitment. This isn't just a fleeting emotion. This is a sealing of your soul in the heavenly records. As you step into the light of my full presence, the old chapters of your life are being closed. The leaving me hanging season is over. A new chapter is beginning, and the best part is that this chapter never has to end. It is a story of growth, of favor, and of an intimacy that grows deeper with every passing day. I am pronouncing a blessing over you right now. I am blessing your mind with clarity, your heart with peace, and your hands with the power to do my work. I am with you always, even to the end of the age. This is not a metaphor, it is a literal promise. When you walk out of this moment and back into your daily life, the atmosphere will be different. You will find that the temptations that used to trip you up have lost their grip. You will find that the anxieties that used to keep you awake have been replaced by a quiet confidence in my provision. Why? Because you are no longer trying to do it alone. You have decided to walk in alignment with the Creator of the stars. You are now a carrier of my light. When people look at you, they won't just see a person, they will see a glimpse of my glory. This is the transformation from a seeker to a son, from a wanderer to a daughter. You have finally found your place. Let this final amen be the foundation of your new life. An amen is a so be it. Let it be so in your finances. Let it be so in your health. Let it be so in your family. I am sealing this moment with my Holy Spirit. You are mine, and I am yours. You're in nowhere distance, and nowhere aiming, and nowhere doubt. The path ahead is bright, and even when the shadows try to creep back in, you will remember this encounter. You will remember the sound of my voice and the warmth of my embrace. Go forward now with boldness. Take the first step of this new journey knowing that I am already there, preparing the way. You have made the right choice, my child. Welcome home. We have a lot of work to do, and a lot of joy to experience. Let's begin. Now that we have sealed this new chapter together, and you have stepped fully into the light, I am calling you to leave a mark of your transformation that will outlast this moment. This journey we have begun is a river meant to overflow, and I am inviting you to be the channel through which my grace reaches the ends of the earth. By choosing to support this mission through PayPal, membership, or super thanks, you are laying up treasures where moth and rust cannot destroy, and where every dollar becomes a voice crying out in the wilderness for the lost to come home. I have told you that I am with you always, and I am watching now as you decide to honor the word that has set you free. I release the favor of the house upon you, declaring that your storehouses shall be full and your life shall be a testament to my supernatural provision. Do not let the final amen be a closing, but a beginning of a legacy built on radical, faith-filled giving. I command you to take the step I have placed before you. Support the word, fuel the mission, and enter into the joy of your Father's business today. I have watched you stand at the threshold of this moment, and now, the time for lingering has reached its final second. I am calling you to mark this ground as holy by making a bold, public declaration that shatters the silence of your delay. Do not leave me hanging another moment. Instead, take your stand right now and type I am here, Father, and I am all in the comments below. Let this act be the spiritual anchor that locks your soul into my presence and signals to the heavens that you are finished with excuses. By declaring these words, you are reclaiming your identity and inviting my favor to flood the very areas where you once felt most alone. Step out of the shadows and into my light. I am waiting for your answer, and I am ready to walk with you into the extraordinary life I have prepared for your name. Amen.